the Go High Level Mastery VIP program. Okay, that's with Adam and Brendan. That is inside the 5 Zoom calls that we have every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, that program right there, there's two options. There's either $497 a month or $597 a month. Okay, the difference between those is you get with the 597, you get the license to Marcus, which is what I'm going to go over today on this call. And it originally that is $297 a month for the license, but they packaged it together where it's $597, so you save $200 a month and you're a part of the group. With that group, you get exactly what you're asking me to do. Now, that means that you sell the deal to someone on Upwork and you can be in those calls every single day and you can have Adam and Brendan build for your client. Okay, that's what they do. So you go in and you just say, like, you might be able to build the majority of it, but when you get stuck, you just go in and they will take over your computer and you'll be able to just, what's it called? Ask them, hey, how do I do this? I need this done. And they'll build it for you right then and there. Now, you get to keep 100% of the build. You're doing it. You're just showing up to the calls and they'll be able to help you. Now, if you wanted to pass that deal over to them and have them do the entire build, you would still get 20% of that. So if, let's just say, if they came to you and said, hey, we'll build this for $4,000. I'm just making up random numbers, right? And you went and sold it for 10,000, there's a $6,000 margin, right? You can just give that entire build to them and you keep 20% of the 6,000. So you would keep like whatever 6,000 times 26 times 2, you'd keep $1,200 just for doing that. You don't have to do anything. And now you have 2 months fully paid for inside the Go High Level VIP Mastery group. That's how I started out. When you start getting good at sales, you're going to want to get more of that revenue. Instead of making $1,200, you're going to want to make $4,000 or $5,000. So that means you just pay the monthly of $1,000 or $2,000. And so those monthly costs right now to yourself and to Bernard, this is exactly what I was going to tell you, Bernard, is you guys are thinking too difficult of, and this is where I was too. This is where I was stuck because I was having this imposter syndrome of I can't keep up with all of this and I need Adam and Brennan to be my mentor or my coach or whoever because I'm afraid to take on clients and not be able to fulfill them. And so that's exactly where I started. I started out at the 497 program. Brandon, what's up, bro? I haven't seen you in here in a while. And he's in the same group. And so when I started out at that point, is now I could focus on the sales and go and get the clients knowing that I don't need to do the work anymore. And so when you're coming to me asking me if I can like put all this stuff in my account and go and do the Upwork and help you with the sales, yeah, I totally can do that. But you don't need me to do anything. We have Adam and Brendan, right? And so my job in this whole thing is just to help you guys get down to a position of being able to sell this. And Bernard was saying the exact same thing as what you were just asking, Kathy, is just in two different ways, is like, there's no reason for me to be involved with your guys' clients. You guys just need to get really good at selling this because the second that you get good at selling this, you don't have to do any of the work. And that 497, the 990, the tier 0 I'm calling is the 497 VIP group. That's tier 0. The tier 1 at $1,000 is tier 1 and tier 2 is $2,000 a month. Those numbers now become completely irrelevant because now you have so many clients coming in that it doesn't matter. You still, if you were to grow your business to where you want it to be, Either you're going to pay Adam and Brendan $2,000 a month, or you're going to be paying developers and employees more than $2,000 a month. So when you guys hear me talk about, oh, it's $2,000, and your instant like reaction is, I can't afford that. Yeah, of course you can't afford that right now because you don't have the sales process in place to be able to have that used as an asset, not a not a depreciating like expense, right? And so the whole reason why I'm doing these Sunday Fun Day calls is to show you the sales process, because no one here can afford $2,000 a month if you don't have clients coming through. And so that's why I went to Adam and Brendan and I said, hey, look, guys, the majority of the people in here, you guys have a high churn rate. And the reason as to why is because it's expensive. It's seen as an expense. And the majority of the people that come in here, not the majority, I'm saying a few, like some of these guys in the group, they have huge agencies and they use Adam and Brendan as their fractional development team. But forget about that for right now. The idea is we have to get you, Kathy, Bernard, Brandon as well, and anybody else that watches these videos or whatnot, is you guys have to get the sales process down. If you do not have sales, you have procrastination, you have expenses because they're not being used as an asset to fulfill the time that's needed to build all of this. And so when I hear you, Kathy, saying like, "Oh, I would love to have you coach and you can split the $100 with me." I'm not interested, or I really $100 does not, like, I don't want you to have to pay me. Like, I want you to be at a point where you're having 3, 4, 5, 6 sales calls a week and you're struggling closing them because we can tap in and sell this for $20,000. And now we're talking about, a $10,000 profit for you, Kathy, where I'm like, okay, I helped you close that deal. I want 3 grand. And you walk away with 7, and you're at a point where you're charging these clients 3, 4, 5, $1,200 a month to use this, right? The AI and all of this. So there's no reason for you to ask me, can we put this underneath it? You have all of this stuff the same way that I do. And the problem is that we don't have the sales process down. Forget about all of the other stuff. Just go and get the client, build out the what's it called? The project scope document. The second that you have one of those, your entire month to be inside the Go High Level VIP Mastery Tier 0 is fulfilled. And now
That's where that's where my biggest concern is filling out the scope document, because I'm not a builder like all of you guys. I kind of know the mapping. Like, I'm not that confused about the mapping, but that was where I was worried, because like with you, you can have Brendan and Adam build out the scope document. But with me, I don't.
you can too. If you join the VIP group for 497, they will
But
build a
remember what I sent you last week privately? That's why I haven't
I,
been able.
I
You
probably
didn't
didn't
do it. The
see
reason
it.
why I didn't join it is because I couldn't join it. And it's not to go buy ho-hos or cookies. It's I literally couldn't. That was like, we couldn't. So that was what, like, I need to sell probably more than anybody on this call right now, because we're in a very interesting time right now.
Well,
Like, so
Kathy,
that's why I was freaked out.
Kathy, I want to change your mind. You're telling me that you can't do something and you need my help. But
Well,
my
no, I couldn't pay the 497 because I was short 497 on my rent. So
No,
that's
I
why.
understand. But Kathy, I lost $1 million in 2 years.
I
Okay,
know.
I'm telling you, I lost $1 million in 2 years. If I were to tell myself that I can't do this, then I would be $1 million out with no clients. Okay. There's no reason for you to say that you can't pay it. You can't make a payment of 497 to Go High Level Mastery. I understand that. But what you can do is go and get 3 paying clients to give you $250 for the project scope document. And when
That's right. Okay.
when you're in that position, you now have $700. That 497 goes to Adam and Brendan to build out 3 project scope documents for you. And you made an extra $200 because you had 700 and it cost 497. It cost 500 to get in there. So now you're up. You're up $250, and you have 3 project scope documents that you don't need to build out. And what that means is you will close at least one of those for 10 grand. And now at that point, you have 6 grand in your pocket. So my point is, I'm trying to change your mindset. You
No,
can't
you
pay
just did.
497. You can't
Yeah.
pay 497. You can't afford your rent. But what you can afford is you can afford to get 3 people to pay you $250 for 3 project scope documents, and you have all 3 of those completed by joining the Go High Level Mastery group for 497. Now you're profitable by 250, and you have somebody else working on 3 deals that you can close at least one of those and put an extra 6 grand in your pocket. That's what you can do.
Yeah, my husband just said thank you because sometimes I can't. You're right. Like thank you. I get it now. I didn't
Yeah.
have my mind
So
was blocked because I was
this
in.
is what I'm telling Bernard as well.
Yeah.
Bernard is saying that he's going to go around and he's going to go and print postcards, and he's waiting. It's been 2 months since I last spoke with Bernard. Bernard hasn't done shit. I'm sorry, Bernard. I'm just going to call you out. And so my point is that no matter if you worked for a corporate company, and I've worked for many corporate companies, when they do layoffs, they do not close out or get rid of salespeople. Because if salespeople were getting rid of, they do not have a company. I have never been laid off in any of my layoffs. They've done huge rounds of layoffs. When Google lays people off, they do not get rid of salespeople. When Amazon gets laid off, they do not get rid of salespeople. They always keep the salespeople. Why? Because the sales drives the money. And if you're not focused on the sale and you're focused on building out postcards, websites, automations, those are not revenue generating tasks. And so if you're focused on revenue generating tasks, you will always have money. And when I lost $1 million, I sat down. My girlfriend, I have been working nonstop, just getting sales. That's it. If sales are coming in, then you will always have money. And if you think that you can't pay for something and you see it as an expense when it's an asset that's right in front of you, because if you got 3 meetings with 3 people and you close $250, you're now up $250, and you don't have to do the work, and you will close at least one of them if you follow the process that I've been teaching you. Like, that is what I think about every day. Like, I'm like, man, I need to make more money. Okay, I need to go sell more of these project scope documents. That's it. And so just think, you are the salesperson for your own company. Forget about building anything. You don't need to build anything. Why? Because you have a $1,000 a month employee. That's it. And guess what? You get 10 employees for $1,000. If you were to go and try to build this out yourself, I promise you, you would spend 3 years and you'd spend 200 grand trying to build what Adam and Brendan have built that has been brought and put right in front of us for $1,000 a month, right? And so, and Bernard, I know you had your hand up, and maybe I'm being too harsh, but I think that you guys need to hear this, because it's like, go and get sales. And if you don't know anything about Go High Level, you don't need to know one thing about Go High Level. You need to know how to build a project scope document. And the second that you build the project scope document, you send it off to Adam and Brendan. They will organize it. They will put it all together. And when you have your third phone call to close the client, you just walk through every single thing. And if you need Adam and Brendan to be on it, if you need me to be on the call, I will be more than happy to be on the call for you to close the deal so that you can make 10 grand, sell it to Adam and Brendan for 5, you keep 5, and now you have $400 a month coming in. And it all starts with just this project scope document. Every single person that I talk to is lost in the sense of they get on YouTube. And Bernard, the things that you were telling me is I think I'm going to go and make cold calls and I'm just going to go and sell the Google reviews. Stay away from those clients. I promise you, you're going to waste so much time. You're going to have a huge fucking headache. You're going to get paid $97 for a bullshit ass client. And I'm calling them bullshit ass clients because I've worked with them and they complain and they say, oh, this is too expensive. And oh, right now, I'm working with multi-million-dollar clients because I read this book called 10x is easier than 2x. When you raise the bar, you start working with amazing fucking clients that are like, how much is it? 10.7? That's not even that much. I'll give you $10,700 right now. And you know what? I have two more companies. I want you to do this. $9,400 and $6,000. And when you get to that point, the people are like, wow, this guy's great. And what do? They go and they talk to their friend that owns a restaurant. They go and talk to their friend that owns another medical clinic. And they're like, yo, this guy just changed my life. He has just automated everything. And then the business starts to come in. And you're like, yeah, I can totally do that. Let me get this project scope document, send it off to Adam and Brendan, and pay Adam and Brendan $4,000 for a $10,000 bill. And you walk away with, $4,000 in your pocket and $397. And the client's like, this is great. Let me go tell my other friends. All right. Like, I know that's kind of harsh and maybe I'm just my Brooklyn is coming out in me, but it's like, you guys got to stop thinking small, think big, and start backwards. It's like, how do I get a $10,000 client? How do I get $497 in my pocket? The only way to do it is through sales. And the only way to do it is to make this project scope document with targeted people from Upwork, from YouTube, from Reddit, from LinkedIn, from wherever they are, and just say, hey, I saw that you had a problem. What is it that you need exactly? Because I might be able to point you in the right direction if I can't help you. And they would be like, yeah, I need this. Cool. Would it make sense to just jump on maybe a 10 to 15-minute call? Cool. You listen to what they say, and they say, yeah, I have this, that, and this, and it's a problem with this, and I wish that I could do this, and I would love to have this. And then you just close them and say, well, I hear your struggle in your voice. I hear your pain. It sounds like you need to have everything organized because when you're taking a shower, you're brushing your teeth, you're at home, you're playing golf, you're thinking about all this stuff, but it seems to me like nothing's gotten done. And they're like, yeah. And you're like, well, let me show you this. This is what I can maybe help you with. It's called a project scope document. It'll take everything from your head. It'll put it on paper. And then we can get organized to what exactly it is that you need to get done. And if you don't want to hire me, now you have everything organized because I can't even give you a price without giving this to you. There's no way anybody could get organized or give you a price without anything like this. And they're like, yeah, okay, that makes logical sense. And now you start to get them to think logical. And they're like, and then you say, I have to charge $250 for this because it's going to take me 4 to 6 hours to go through this. You're going to send it off to Adam and Brendan. You're not going to do any of the work. And they come back to you and they say, that makes sense. Yeah, I wouldn't expect you to do it for free. That's silly. If it takes you 6 hours, of course, I'd love to pay you for this. And then they're like, and that's the dream client that you want. If they're like $250, I'm not paying that. That's stupid. Cool. I just saved you 7 hours of a headache plus $97 that you're going to put in $5,000 worth of work to do just to make $100 because you now are there's like you've created a job for yourself that you thought you could do it. You wasted so much time. So the second that they pay the $250, you don't have to follow up. You don't have to ask questions. They're like, hey, bro, where's my $250 document? You charged me money to build this. Yeah, I know. We're working on it. We're making it super special for you because what we're going to do is transform your entire business. And they're like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. You're right. That's amazing. I can't wait to see the document that you've created. Yeah, give me a day or two. Cool. You get on the call and then you just read line by line. Remember when you told me that you wanted your calendar to be linked to your employee? Here it is. This is in pipeline stage number 0. And then you go through all this stuff and they're like, wow, that's amazing. And you're like, yeah, it's going to cost 10 grand. remember when you told me that you're losing out on 65 grand a month because you can't answer the phone calls? For 10 grand, you can make 65. And they're like, holy shit, I forgot about that. That's an extra $2 million a year just by having myself organized. And you're like, yeah. And the best part is it only costs $595 a month. And they're like, where do I sign? I'm telling you, that's how easy this stuff is. Everybody on YouTube, everybody that's not following this is making it so difficult for no reason. It's not hard. It's just asking them, what do you want built? And they're like, yeah, I'll pay you 250. Wow, I can make 100 grand a month because I'm an idiot and I haven't gotten my business organized like you're telling me that I should and how you know how to do it. And you're like, yeah, basically. And the best part is you don't have to do any of the work. Adam and Brendan will do the work. And so like I don't know how to make it any more clear. I get so many people that see my advertisements and see all that. Kathy, you're the only one that shows up here every single day, every single Sunday. Every Sunday you're here with questions, and the questions kind of become the same. And so today
You're right.
and I want you to just go and get a project scope document. Go and sell that because the second that you sell 4 of those, I guarantee you that you will close 2 of them. And at that point, you now will have 6 months worth of income to pay with Adam and Brendan. And if you just rinse and repeat that cycle, you will go from a $10,000 build to a $38,000 build to a $60,000 build, and you will just start going in circles because you got really, really good at selling a project scope document. That's the first thing. Like, it's the same thing in any other thing that you would do in life. Like, when you met your husband or you met your boyfriend or your girlfriend, it's like, hey, what's your name? That's cool. I like your shirt. Would you want to get dinner one day, maybe? That's cool. Okay, let's go to dinner. And then you go to dinner and then you start talking and you're like, hey, I really had fun. You want to go bowling next week? Yeah, that's cool. Hey, me and my friends are going to go out tonight. Yeah, that's cool. Hey, we're having a really good time. Do you want to be my boyfriend? Yeah, that would be great. Hey, that's cool. Like, I'm buying a new apartment. Would you want to move in? That's cool. We've been doing this for 3 years now. Would you want to be my wife? Do you want to have kids? Like, imagine this is what everybody on YouTube is doing. Hey, I see you have a business. Do you want to get married tomorrow? Like, that's what they're teaching people. No, it's a step by step process. It's just a process. And think of it like dating. Hey, cool, let me hear a little bit about you. That's cool. Hey, I have this cool thing that I make. It's called a project scope document. Would you want to check it out? Yeah, that's cool. Hey, you bought this project scope document. I think that you might trust me now. Do you want me to build all this stuff for you? Yeah, that's cool. Hey, I built all this stuff for you. Do you have any friends that you could recommend to me? Yeah, that's cool. Like
Yeah.
that's how it goes, right? And so it irritates me, Kathy, when you say, I don't have $497. Well, you haven't gotten 497 because you haven't sold a project scope document. And
You're right.
it's
I'm not
just
offended.
straight
I'm
up that,
I'm
right?
not offended at all. Like you're being my husband's sitting right next to me and he wanted to hear the whole process. So this is the first time he heard the whole process and he said it makes sense to him for me. And you're right. Like you're right. I'm not even going to argue with that. Next week I'm going to come with a Upwork deal that I need you to show me if I did it right when I filled it
So
out.
so
That's what I'm going to come
here's
with you.
here's what I would suggest that Brandon, Bernard, and Kathy and Cynthia do from today until next Sunday. And I'm going to make a challenge to you guys of go into my course and watch every single 10 to 15-minute call. That's it. Just watch every single one of them. Put it on 1.5x because I don't edit it. So I try when I record it, I try to do it quick because I know other people are going to watch them. So I've been getting better at like keeping the client on course with what we're doing. But go and watch. That's all your homework is this week because I guarantee you, if you watch every single one of those, it might be 10 hours. Just put headphones in your ear when you're cleaning, when you're doing work, when you're doing something. Listen to it like a podcast. And if you listen to those calls, you will understand and see the cadence because it's super easy. The first question is always, how can I help you? Like, tell me a little bit about what you got going on in your business. The most open-ended question ever. And you get them to talk and you listen. And after you just listen to what they say, they're going to be like, you're going to just say, well, cool, totally understand. Where I suggest that we would start, or the way that I work, or the best clients that I have always gone through this process, and it's called a project scope document. And you're not talking about anything about Go High Level, anything about a CRM system, anything about AI, anything about any of that shit. And you just close them on this document is going to get everything from inside your head on paper. And you leave it in a decision for them because this is called consultative sales. And you leave this decision up to them and you say, listen, for $250, I'll build this out. Now, if you and I don't decide to work together, you probably are going to go interview other people, which I encourage you to do. Delete my price from this and send this to the next person that you would talk to. And this actually reduces the amount of time that you now have to spend on going out and finding other people. Because if you work with some of the best people in this industry, they will be able to take a look at this document and give you a price within a day. And you wouldn't even have to talk to them. You say, here's everything that I need built. Give me a price. Delete my price and compare my price to their price, right? Or if you decide to work with us, that this allows me to even give you a price. If no one's ever given you a price without having a document like this, they are making shit up, and I would be extremely weary and concerned as to who you're about to work with and pay. Because if they have not given this to you, how would they know what you need built? There's no possible way. And at that point, you got them from thinking logically with an out. So they're not cornered and they don't feel as if they're being sold to. Because when you give someone an out, you now have created an option for them to want to buy, right? So when you walk down the street and you have the girl, in front of you with a menu, hey, you guys want to see our menu? You want to see our menu? Look, check it out. We got beers, we got clams, we got fish, we got burgers, we got this, we got happy hour, we got this, we have this. You're like, no. But meanwhile, you walk down the street because you're looking for food anyway, but you just felt intimidated. When you walk to a car dealership, hey, is there anything I can help you with? We got cars, we got leather, we got, luxury, we got family vans. You got a ring on, you look like you're married. Maybe you have kids. Do you want to get a minivan? No, dude, leave me alone. I just want to look at the fucking cars, right? That's how most of these agencies act or come across when they're trying to sell something. So when you go in and you go this casual route of, well, how could anybody give you a price if you don't have this document? They're like, that makes sense. I don't know. I never thought of that. Yeah. And if we decide to work together, I'll just take this 250 off the project. There's no risk involved. And they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Why would I want to have more of these conversations and try to interview people to work with me compared to if he just gave this to me, now I have my benchmark. I can just go and give this to everybody and he's encouraging it. Yeah, that makes sense. I'd be more than happy to pay 250. Let's do it. Right? And so that's the easiest way to consultatively sell in this industry. Now, you can't make a cold call. You can't make a cold call and go and say, hey, my name is Nick. How do you guys keep track of your leads? Well, I can sell this little document to you for $250 and we can get, no, these people have to be in the buying stage, right? And that's where you find them on Upwork, on Reddit, in the comments of YouTube and LinkedIn. You can't cold call and sell a project scope document to someone that doesn't even know they have a problem. And when you cold call, to get to that point, you'd have to call 1,000 people just to be on a phone call with at least 5 or 10 people that might buy from you, right? Because that's cold calling. You want inbound leads, and the inbound leads I'm calling like Upwork and all that stuff. They're at the end of the buying cycle. They know they have a problem. They know they're just looking for you to plop in front of them for the solution. And so I hope, I mean, I know we spent like an hour on this, but you got to get your mind out of, I don't have the money, or I can't afford it, or I think what I'm going to do is do this, or I'm going to go, go to the BNI groups, but you haven't. And Bernard, I'm not being a dick. I'm helping you, right? Like this process is working. If I wanted to learn how to play tennis, I'm not going to ask my girlfriend. I'm going to go straight to, you know, Venus or Serena Williams, like someone at that level, right? If I want to learn golf, I'm not going to ask the guy that I play golf with all the time and he's shooting a 96 and I'm shooting an 89. Like he doesn't know anything. He's not playing better than me, right? So I'm going to go to the golf pro who plays from the blacks and he's shooting 75 on one of the hardest courses and be like, yo, bro, what am I doing wrong? Right. And that's why when I started all this stuff out, is I was going to YouTube trying to figure out these things. And then I realized pretty quickly, like, these guys are YouTube content creators. They have like 60,000 subscribers. They're more worried about getting the little plaque to hang on their back window. And they're probably really good at thumbnails because they got me here. And they're really good at making content because they got me here. But this guy doesn't know anything about sales. I have 15 years of sales experience and he's not even telling me how to sell it. He's telling me what to say on a cold call. And he probably called 45 people, but he just edited the video and he's showing me the one that he got someone to say, yeah, I'll take a meeting with you. Like, I don't, he probably spent 6 hours just to get that, right? And then everybody in the comments, like, man, this is amazing. Bro, you called 400 people and you edited the phone call out. Like, you know, and that's why you have 60,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. You're a YouTube content creator. You're not an agency owner that's doing what you're saying that you're doing. That's what I learned very quickly. Um, so, I mean, yeah, this kind of went the other round, the other way that I wanted it to go, but I didn't put that on the live. But, you know, that's that's my 2 cents. My Zoom is telling me, do I want to put my hand down? I stopped talking. Yeah, put my hand down. All right. I wasn't yelling at any of you guys. I want you guys to be extremely successful doing this, right? And I know that you guys can. I know that you can. I'll tell you a story. Teresa is following this. Brandon knows Teresa. She's in the group. She closed a $60,000 deal and a $42,000 deal. I think she told us that on the last call. Kathy was here. Like, and she's just following my simple 3-step process. Like, just go and get the project scope document, hand it off to Adam and Brendan, and just your homework is to watch those calls in the sales calls that I have and get really good at just understanding the cadence. Like take notes if you have to. When you're washing dishes, when you're driving in the car, just throw it on. Listen to it. Listen to each one and you'll do it. Right? Um so
Did you ever record how you do the videos when you submit your request to Upwork? Did you add that to the class yet?
I haven't I need to go through and look at like the success. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna just post uh just screenshots maybe because I don't know any other way. There's no like, I mean, I guess I could make videos, but you'll want to copy and paste it. So I think maybe um we can do that.
That I know that you do upload with Upworks. You do specifically send a video with whatever you send out to them,
Yeah,
and
but you know what? Upwork actually uh they took that away. It was a beta function and I'm really irritated by that because it was really, really good. I
oh,
don't know
that sucks.
why. Yeah, they took it away. Like if I put in like let me see, I'm just on Upwork right now. If I click apply now, it used to be right here where you could film a video and it's no longer there. It said that it was a beta thing and I don't know why it disappeared. I don't know why it disappeared. But let me try to put this on, let me try to live stream this because I really don't want to building out this chatbot for a little bit. Um Fred, what's up, man? How are you? Give me 1 second.
No worries.
Just let's see if this works. Okay, so this is working now. All right, so I want to get into building out the chatbots. But Brandon, go ahead. Tell me what's up. You got a question.
Yeah, just curious. Obviously you and I've been in the GHL mastery group for some time now, and I know a lot of people who are doing stuff and making things happen are working with other people. And Adam shared his story numerous times about how he met Brendan. I know you have extensive sales experience. I never asked you personally, but do you work with somebody? Do you have a business partner, or are you just spearheading this whole thing yourself at the moment?
Um, no, I don't have a partner. It's just me. I
Yeah.
use Adam and Brendan as
Right.
my
Your
my
fractional development
JV
guys.
partners, right?
Yeah.
Um, I do have a partner outside of what I'm doing. We
Hmm.
we are building some AI software that Adam and Brendan are helping us with, but that has nothing to do with like me going to Upwork and stuff like that. He has a bunch of clients that we are turning this into something, but um, that's about it. And I don't
Hmm.
know what the hell is going on with uh, what's it called today?
Call with some of the guys, the business coaches in the GSD,
Uh,
and got some advice from Cody Rahul, business coach. Um, just in basically since Los Angeles last year, I've just come to the conclusion that I'm just not strong yet in the sales area. If I want to take the time to get where I'd like to be, maybe that takes longer. So I've looked at the just to bring them on, whether it's temporary, whether it's long term, I don't know, but just to split the cost of the builds.
yeah,
So
so
I've explored that as an option because I'm not strong in sales. I don't always know what to do, where to go. I'm learning that phase. But in the meantime, it seems worthwhile to get ahead quicker in doing that and sacrifice potential profits in the early days just to get the momentum going before, you know what I mean? You might not agree with that approach, but
no, I do,
it's
bro.
an option. It's something
So
that,
here's
yeah.
the thing, dude. I have 15 years of sales experience that you guys have
Mhm.
to understand that that
Yeah,
took a long time. And
exactly.
I completely understand that you guys might not have that type of experience. And so I fully am aware of that. And I try to think back to when I was younger and how did my bosses teach me and
Hmm.
how did that work, right? And so I try to think of things like that of, you know, where how can I do it the same way that he did it for me, right? And a
Hmm.
lot of it is frameworks.
Yeah.
And so what I want to show you is this guy right here, Liam Otley, which I like this guy a lot. But again, he is a content creator. I believe that he is building out a lot of his agency stuff, but he has like what's it called? He has like courses and things like that. So a lot of them is like that. But what I would like to show you is that he has a Discord channel that's free that you can jump into. Let me see if I have it on my Discord. That there's a lot of people in here that communicate back and forth, that network, and there's exactly what you're looking for. to get people to partner up with, and there's a shit ton of them. I want to see if I have the link to his. You know what? I bet like in an older video. Let me see something. This is the video. A incubator. There's 31,000 people in here. Telegram, accelerator program, announcements, wins, free chat. Oh, please see announcements. Maybe he changed some stuff. I don't know. Okay, so he moved everything over to school in November. So go and join this school community. There's 97,000 people in here, and it's free. This is where you're gonna be able to find what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. And everything you were explaining to Catherine earlier, I feel like that's just locked in. It's nailed down. It's just a matter of getting those sales calls booked on the calendar, selling the project scope document, boom, hand it off for
That's it, bro.
fulfillment. Done. Repeat,
That's it.
rinse, repeat.
Rinse and repeat. I mean, that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. It's just rinse and repeat, and you know, just get as many people on the calls that you possibly can. This is where you're gonna join. He must have closed this down because I found him, dude, when there was like 100 people in this group. I followed this guy a long time ago. I'm surprised he has like what? Yeah, 384,000 subscribers. That's a lot. He grew a
Would you
lot.
think, Nick, that most of those people are trying to build something, or do you think they're looking to join an existing business opportunity where they can sell that product?
Oh no, there's a bunch of people. There's some high-end people in this group, dude. I mean,
Uh-huh.
look, there's 97,000 people in there. You're gonna come across some people. He built it like that on purpose.
Mhm. Interesting.
There's AI
Cool.
professionals, developers, and potential partners. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I'm gonna fucking rejoin it, bro. Uh, yeah, I'll join this later. I'm not gonna join it right now. So with that being said, all right, I was gonna do some AI chatbot stuff, but maybe we just keep it at this because this is not streaming. I don't know why it's not streaming. It's annoying, but it is what it is. Mario, you missed me yelling at everybody, telling them to get off their ass and start selling some shit. In a nice way. I wasn't giving anybody a hard time.
Justin's laughing at you right now.
Yeah.
He's being cute. I said the professor really got mad at the class today, but no, we can respect that.
I wasn't being mean. I wasn't being mean.
You weren't. You really weren't.
I
Like,
just tell it how it is.
yeah, in a very kind. My mother-in-law's from Boston. Trust, that was not totally Boston. Justin's mom is from Boston, and his dad. So
Yeah.
that was the kindest Boston way of telling someone straight I ever heard.
Yeah. Mario, do you have anything that you want to go over? It's been a while since I spoke to you too. Bernard, I know you had your hand raised. Don't feel shy. I will not be so harsh. But yeah, let me know. Keep me posted. Let me know what's up.
I'm still starting up my Upwork stuff. I haven't done honestly too much the last few weeks, but a lot going on. I've been putting a little time in as I can. But long days, I get to the end of the day and I'm like, man, just gotta time I have to relax is like the time I should be working on it. So I should be putting more time into it, but
Yeah, you have
slacking.
you're if I remember correctly, you are doing the tour buses out in Salt Lake City, right? Or is that Bernard?
No, it's not me.
That's Bernard. No, Bernard's not doing that. Bernard's working at the
Dealership.
Is that you, Bernard?
No, automotive
You're the
dealership.
automotive. Who did I speak to? A couple. Maybe it's Mauricio. That's what it is. Mauricio.
I work at a dealership pretty close to
Oh, there
Bernard.
you go. You guys live close to each other?
I'm not familiar with Bernard. I haven't
Oh, okay,
seen
okay.
him in a call.
I'm in California.
Yeah, I'm out here in California also in SoCal.
Oh,
But
I'm in NorCal,
no,
Bay Area.
it's not too far.
I'm in
Couple hours.
SoCal too.
Okay, well, there you go. There's your partners. You guys have something to sell to the auto dealerships.
Yeah, that's something that's eventually going to come of it. I know the software they use already. Honestly, man, they're like big time billion-dollar businesses like Dealer Track and I had no idea. That's like a $4 billion company. They just basically implement it into all the dealerships, Toyota, Chevy, all whoever wants to use
Hmm.
them, you know. But
Yeah.
if there's a way later, obviously I'm not going to start with them, but that'd be a nice little entry into dealerships to implement whatever's needed. But trying to start somewhere first before I hit my job of work. I'd rather be gone and successful, and then later come to them with my ideas.
I hear you. I hear you.
But I do
Well,
have
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff, man. I had no idea. I have a friend I met years ago on a video game in Australia, and we play different times of days. And he's a cool guy, older, and I found out he's the actual developer for AI. Like I had no idea. So I actually started asking him what he does, and has his own company. I think he has multiple employees. I would have never guessed, man. But this is basically what he's doing. Any AI integrations to existing softwares, and he's offering, services and um, any type of implementation. But he's doing more custom, not specifically from CRMs, but he can have a add things to software to do its own thing if you need to implement a specific job. So the last few weeks I've been talking to him about a couple things. So not saying I'm a drop out of the mastery. I'm still gonna go that route, but if there's any other type of implementations that I'll need, he's someone that I can go to and he can check what I have and put it into whatever I'm working on. So it's kind of nice
yeah.
to see someone else doing it.
Well, here's one thing that I'm gonna start doing. Brandon, this might help you as well. This will help everybody, okay?
Okay.
So in December, Adam and Brendan basically told me, Nick, you gotta slow down because we need to hire more people and we gotta get internally, we need to restructure our internal systems and whatnot because there was just a lot of stuff that I was selling and they were busy, right? And so I took a course with what's his name, Russell Brunson. Now, I'm not new to Russell Brunson, but I have been following him, for years, and I'm sure you guys know who he is and read his books and follow him and whatnot, right? And so, um, one thing that he said the other day on this, it was a 9.5 hour Zoom call each day for 3 days. Now, you guys have complete access to that in the course if you wanted to go and check it out. I copied all of them in there. And basically, he's talking about doing this one to many. And so instead of me going to Upwork, what I'm going to do is do exactly what's his name, Russell Brunson does, and that is selling one to many on a webinar. And so he sells his stuff on stage and he sells his stuff on webinars. He has a 15% close rate, which means that he is gets 1,000 people there. He sells 100. He sells, I guess, 150 people a $10,000 thing, right? And so instead of going out to Upwork individually, what I'm going to do is just build out this. I'll show you what it is of these, just a webinar. And so I have a bunch of slides right here of how to, and this is literally straight from Russell Brunson. I copied exactly his slides and just put my shit in there of how to do this. This is to get people into the course that I have, because I'm doing that now. I'm running ads for it, of just building out the project scope document, because people have been asking me about it. But now I'm just going to take these exact same slides, and adjust it to, why do you need a project scope document? How to implement AI into your business with your CRM software, right? And just sell a $250 project scope document on a webinar in front of 30 people at a time. Instead of going one by one and spending 30 hours to speak to 30 different people, this is where the cold email will come in, as well as Facebook ads, of just getting business owners on a call. So for instance, I sit here on Facebook every day and just look at this stuff. I've done $450,000 in 1 year selling AI agents. Then I click on his ad and I go to his funnel, and I have exactly a funnel that I know that people are running ads to that work. And so I can build a landing page just like this, which I built this directly from, what's his name, Russell Brunson. I took his exact same everything, and I just made a sales page of what it's like for me to close 63 grand, and I have people coming in.
What is likely to play in the first quarter?
I'm sorry?
These two offenses.
Oh, he's watching football.
Someone's watching football.
Yeah. So I have this exact same thing that I will just copy this and then adjust it to, if you can copy and paste, then you can add AI into your business and generate an extra $10,000 a month from your missed leads. Get instant access to a simple, proven, document that will take everything from your head and put it on paper so that you can be organized to automate your entire business with zero work needed, right? I don't know, something along those lines. Come through here and just have a video of what it is about, and then just go through here and say, I've been doing this for 15 years. I've helped businesses grow $673,000 with using AI in their business. It saves them time, it saves them money, it saves them whatever, right? And so just have them come here, register for the webinar, and if you look at what's happening, I'm doing this in front of, 8-10 people a day of this website. I have like the webinar funnel. I have the webinar funnel. So for this, I'm getting a 32% opt-in rate of 85 people to register. And over the past week, I just did this last week, I probably had 30 people come to the thing. And now I'm just honing in and fixing my AI to go out and reach out to these people. But I had 27 people watch the replay out of 85. So I don't know what's 27 out of 265. What is that? 27 divided by 265. I have a 10% replay watch, right? And now I can scale it. And so what I would like to do is just get in front of 30 business owners at a time and sell, 4 project scope documents and make $1,000 just from the project scope document. And then obviously 2 or at least 1 is going to buy, a $1,000 or $10,000 thing. And here it is, I make $3,600 from a $10,000 build. If it costs $4 grand, I charge $300 a month for it, and I made $250 off the project scope document that Adam and Brendan are doing, right? Because Adam and Brendan don't care about the 250. The 250 I don't really care about either. It's just to qualify the person. Like, are you down to spend 250 to possibly spend 10 grand? Like, you know what I mean? And so now if I can get in front of 30 people at a time, I sell four of these, that's $1,000 instantly off the ads or cold email, get them to go to this landing page that I change, that I adjust, and then where'd that go? Get, one person out of the four, I make 3,600 plus 1,000 plus, 397, 497, 897 a month from it, and just rinse and repeat. And now I'm just doing the project scope document in front of 20 or 30 people at a time, right? And so that's where I'm headed, because yeah, going to Upwork is cool, but it takes a lot of time. Why don't I just write an advertisement? So here's my ads.
Nick, who are you sharing that Google Doc with? Like, who is that for?
Which Google Doc?
The one that you just had the
Is
custom
it?
built this. Yeah, like what is that for? Who are you presenting that to, or is that just your own
This is the
note?
webinar to get people into my course, because during December, Adam and Brennan said, "Hey, you got to stop selling." So then, I have 80 people in my course, and I'm like, well, if 80 people are in there, they want this, right? So it's my recorded sales calls, it's the projects, the building out the project scope. You guys already have it. You have it. The prospecting
Yeah.
method, you have that, right? So now I have another asset that I'm like, well, I might as well just run ads, get people on a webinar, and I'm getting 10 people to a webinar every day, and then some people are buying it, right? And so now Adam and Brendan, in that amount of time, Adam and Brendan hired people to, uh, now I can go and sell this to companies, right? Like I can be back on my regular sales calls, because
So you,
I haven't been out there selling because Adam and Brandon couldn't keep up, right? So now they hired people, they've trained them, they spent a month and a half organizing it all. So now I have this completely built out, so that's running in the background, and now I can go and just readjust this landing page to get people to buy the project scope document, right? So I just drive people here. I'm getting a 32% opt-in rate. I'm getting 5, 6 people to show up daily to the webinar. And then I just adjust this this presentation, instead of selling the course on how to do exactly what I'm explaining to you right now, what we're doing. It's like, you know, I sold or one of my clients sold $973,000 in 10 days using AI in their business, right? I have that. That's a case study that I have from one of my clients. And so, it'll go through, and I'll just be like, my goal is not if you have an agency, but if you have $1 million a year business, how to automate it and double it within the next year using AI, right? I'm making this up. I have no idea what I'm going to say, but
okay, so your webinar is geared more towards people like us who have started our own business or want to, or existing businesses of any sort that want to implement AI, or
no.
both.
So I have two. That's what I'm showing you.
Ah,
This one is
gotcha.
geared towards you guys.
That makes sense.
You guys already have this. Now that I know that this is working because I'm getting people to opt in, what I would like to do is build out advertisements that would be like this, right? So here's one. For those who want clients within 48 hours, a 75-minute intimate live webinar of showing you exactly how to find high ticket 4 to 11,000. That's what I have right now going for people like yourselves that are in this group, right? What I can do is I can make another one that's like, oops, how do I just duplicate this? Duplicate for 1 million annual revenue per year businesses, a 75-minute intimate live webinar of me showing exactly how to add AI into your business and grow revenue by 211% in 10 days in less than 48 hours that you can implement today. Like
Where do you
literally,
get 211 from? Is that just
that's
whatever?
that's my case study that I have with it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So then secure your seat. What you will learn. The stupid, simple, I don't know what I would put here. I'd have to think about that for a second. Probably the stupid, simple three steps. No, it would be like, yeah, I don't know. I would sit here and think about that for a little bit and like think of all the clients that I've worked with of like the stupid, simple three-step process. I'd probably, you know what I would do? I would build out the presentation first and then have the ad go to it, right? But
Mhm.
like this, like what you will learn, basically, how to fully automate your CRM system using AI chatbots, right? How to keep the personalization in your business without your clients knowing it's AI, right?
Mhm.
I don't know, how to spend more time doing the things you love while your business operates in the background on autopilot, right? Something like that. And then another one would be like, I don't know, whatever I come up with, but I probably put numbers because people's eyes are drawn to numbers. So it would be like increase productivity by, I could even run numbers in that thing. I don't know. I don't know what I would put right here, but here's the thing. Like the ad is the qualifying mechanism to who you want to work with. So I'm only going to be on calls with people who make $1 million of revenue a year, right? So you use the advertisement as your your barrier to entry, right? Because if
Mhm.
I just put in here like add AI into your business, well, that's cool. Now I'm going to get people on there that are like, oh, I don't have enough money to spend $250. I don't want to be in front of those people, right?
Mhm.
So you want to, and this is stuff that I learned from Jeff Miller. Jeff Miller is, if you guys are not a
Your
part of,
Facebook ads guy.
if you're not a part of this group, which is called Agency Secrets, this one with the little butt, this you guys should join 100%. Here are some people that you should partner with inside here. Brandon, I'll send this in the group chat.
And Nick, before I forget, in this scenario, would your webinar be kind of focused around the customer journey that you do during the project scope call and how you determine how and what can be automated, where AI can be implemented, and how it benefits the business owner? Is that sort of how you're structuring your webinar?
No, my webinar is going to be the exact same, uh, the exact same thing as to what I have conversations with people on Upwork about. So when you go into the course, right? Um, this webinar is exactly all of these three calls selling to the business owner. So I have, I don't know how many is right here, 20, right? I can take the common errors that a business owner has in these. That's where I came up with this ad, right? Like those were those points that I was trying to think about. What are the conversations I've had with these people, right? So like Ken, for instance, he's successful. I successfully closed him on a $12,500 deal. I'd probably specialize in his because I want to find more Kens. I want to find more Ors. I want to find more uh, really come down here. I want to find the people that I closed, right? I want to find more Austins, Luis, Stevens, Marks, Max, Daniels, Kens, right? I want to find these people. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I would like to do is figure out what are their common problems, right? Like Steven, he's got a medical clinic. He needs scheduling. That's one of the biggest things. And he needs two systems to speak to one, right? The other thing is like following up, right? So I have, real estate agents. I have a thing right here. These are all of this is when I was running real estate here. These are all the things that I was doing inside WhatsApp of trying to keep everybody organized. So like organization, right? How to dish off work to employees. So the entire webinar is going to be just around you're not organized. And the reason why you can't add AI into your business is because the same reason that you guys aren't getting sales. So all of this is the same thing. Now this comes full circle because what I was telling Kathy about the dating, right? She says that I can't, spend $497 on this. Well, the thing is the business owners think the exact same way. They're like, I need to do this first in order to get to where I'm at. But the thing is that like Nike is just do it, right? You have to do it first. And so all these business owners have everything stuck inside their head. They're not able to get it on paper because they don't know how. And so the point of this webinar is not to sell them on anything about Go High Level. They're going to just learn how to implement AI into their business. And that's how you should be selling this, right? When you have your project scope document, you're not talking about AI because everything is step by step. So if I hone in on their process, right? All right, now I'm going to get into some stuff because this stuff I like. Look at this graphic right here. This is what my webinar will be about. And this is what every webinar should be about, is this right here. Let me open this link. Open image. Where do I open the image? Open image. Where do I see that? Open image in new tab. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. No. Let me find a bigger one. Open image in new tab. Okay, this is a little bit better. Okay, so you have this one thing, my one thing and your one thing, right? Every one thing is the project scope document, okay? So you have it for business owners. So this is what I'm going to talk to you about right now. You're only looking to sell a project scope document for $250, okay? So you have secret number one, you have secret number two, you have secret number three, right? In your case, if you're selling the project scope document, it's not gonna be a secret. It's gonna be like, problem number one or problem number two or problem number three, right? So you break it down and you rebuild their belief patterns. So I'm going to speak about how would I structure my webinar to go out and speak to business owners, right? Only trying to sell them one thing, which is the $250 project scope document, because they do not know what's coming next. They don't know that the project scope document is a proposal, which is a part of the sales process. So I'm not going to, again, this comes back to dating. I'm not going to meet a girl and say, hey, I like your dress. Let's get married tomorrow, right? You have to go in steps. So this is just the project scope document because it inevitably leads to me closing them on a $10,000 to $15,000 deal. If I went in and said, hey, I'm going to sell you something for $15,000, turn off everything and don't get distracted and listen to what I have to say. If they don't have $10,000 to $15,000 up front, they're not going to sit for the whole webinar. So secret number one is going to be something along the lines of, look, I know that you have a business and you want to grow to $2 million, $3 million, $10 million, but you've hit a plateau. And that plateau is because you're not organized. And what that organizational structure looks like is you need to have some sort of pipeline. And so if you had a CRM system like HubSpot, Go High Level, something like that, where you could build automations inside it, you could actually replace probably some of your workers or create SOPs to do such things, right? So I created a problem. It's super easy to do that. Go High Level has this and you can get organized, right? But I still haven't given them the problem yet because that leads into another problem. I don't know how to do that. Secret number two is going to be like, secret number two would be like, now, let's just pretend like you have this CRM system in place, but now you have to go and you have to train all your employees. And what happens if your employees got fired? Or what happens if your employees, quit on you? Now you have to go back and spend a lot of time training them, and that sucks, right? Well, I'm going to show you how to get that to where you don't have to do such things, right? So now you have, okay, they got the CRM system. They have a problem with the employees, right? And secret number 3 would probably be like, and I'm going to show you how to put this AI into everything because AI is awesome, right? Well, there's still a problem. They understand that, but they don't know how to do it. So what's the solution? They need to get the project scope document. They need to be super fucking organized in how they do this. And so when they start to see, damn it, what, I gotta log back in. When they start to see, why is this not going? Turn your notes into audio overviews. I don't want to do that right now. When they start to see, like, oh man, this guy just told me every single thing, like I completely get it because now I get them to think logically. So it all starts out with getting them to think like emotionally, right? Like your problems, like you're thinking about this all the time. You're trying to get from 1 million to 10 million, but you can't. And the reason why is because of this, and this, and those secrets, right? You can't get to 1 million because you don't have this, you don't have this, and you don't have this, right? This is straight from Russell Brunson. Like this is not, I'm not creating this, but it makes sense because it's the sales process. I've always done this type of thing. I just didn't have this nice graphic to explain it to me. Like this is everything that I've done explained in a very simple graphic, which is amazing. I wish I could structure my life like that. I'd take the long route and try to explain shit difficultly. But when I go there and I show them, well, here's what you need to build. And this comes back to Kathy and everybody asking me, like, well, I need your help building this. I know you need my help building this as a business owner. That's why I charge you $250 to do this. Because when they start to see this, they're like, oh man, that is really organized. I've never seen anything like that. I wouldn't even know where to start. Well, cool. Guess what? I have an offer for you. I will build out your project scope document. And then they get happy. And then not only will I build out your project scope document for you, I'll show you how to do this and I'll give you a CRM system for $99 a month, which is a sub account. That's cool. They're happy. I'll build out your project scope document. I'll also give you the go high level account and also hold your hand to building it. That's awesome. And not only am I going to do that, I'm going to give you the project scope document. I'm going to give you the go high level account. I'm going to hold your hand doing it. And then I'm going to train your employees on how to do that and get all of this for $250, right? I don't know what the offer would be, right? And so now I'm just building out this project scope document. Adam and Brendan are building it out for him. Why is Adam and Brendan building it out? Because Adam and Brendan are going to keep 40% of whatever it is that I sell it for. So there's interest in their end to do this for me. And so now I'm at this point where all I'm doing is selling this project scope document to the masses. And if I know, which I do know, I have an 83% close rate, that for every 5 people that buy a project scope document for $250, which is times 250, 250, I make $12.50 upfront, which covers all my ads, right? Plus more because I'm probably getting about $6 people to show up to the webinar. So I'm making $12.50 off that. That's a business in itself, right? So I'm making $12.50 for every 5 that I'm building out. And then out of those 5, I'm probably, let's be conservative, I sell 2 for 10 grand and I'll take the easy number. So I'll make $3,600. So now I got 2 times $3,600. I made $7,200 plus my $12.50 plus I'm going to charge them $397 a month to use it. Now I'm making $794 a month plus my 7,000 plus my 1,250, right? And so this is what, like, this is right in front of us. This is what Russell Brunson teaches. This is how Russell Brunson has sold $1 billion worth of ClickFunnels in front of everybody. Like this right here is exactly what he's doing. This is what he does on stage. The one thing, you know, you want to go and sell supplements. You want to sell your coaching program. You want to sell that. Well, you need a funnel. And if you need a funnel, you need to know which ones are working well. And I have funnel hacking live. And if you don't know how to do that, then you can have me do it for you, right? And so he just goes through and he's like, you get for $10,000, you get funnel hacking live. That's great. You get ClickFunnels plus funnel hacking live. You get funnel hacking live, ClickFunnels, and then we'll come in and do it for you. And then we'll even, whatever. That's all he's doing. This right here is the secret to every single thing that you need to do. And this is kind of what I've been teaching. I just didn't have this graphic for you to understand that, right? So like when I go into the project scope document, I give them, well, I guess my intro is my message to them on Upwork, right? I say, this is how I work, book a call on my calendar. We get in there, and then the content is like, what are the things that you need done in your business? And they have a problem, and they're like, I don't know. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. Whatever, right? They give me their secret number. Change this word secret. They give me problem number one, they give me problem number two, and they give me problem number three. They're doing this because I set it up that way because I know that I'm going to sell a $250 item. And so I try to find out those three secrets or those three problems by asking that open-ended question. And then I break and I rebuild their belief pattern with the project scope document. And how I do it is I go through and I say, well, let me show you. We build out this entire thing first, right? And if we decide to work together, then we build it out into a detailed scope document. And it looks like this. And I offer stack. And I'm like, this was what comes if we decide to work together, right? This is everything. And they're like, wow, that's amazing. Holy shit. You made 75 pages of this other company. This is super organized. You guys definitely know what the hell you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't tell you a price just yet, right? And that's how all of this just happens. And then, they come back to me. They're excited. So my offer stack is like, I built out the project scope document. They get excited and they're like, hey, where is it? I built out the project scope document. I give them a price. They get excited. And then I built out the project scope document. I gave them the price. They paid for the thing. They get excited. I gave them the project scope document. Now I gave them a detailed project scope document. They paid for it and they get to use it. And I make my monthly money, right? This thing can be aligned for anything that it is that you sell. This is aligned for everything. I mean, these visuals are great. I've never made a visual like this. I didn't really notice this until later on, but this is really how I've been selling my shit for the past 15 years. It's extremely, extremely easy to look at and understand how this works, right? So when I do the webinars, that's it. Like, I'll show you this webinar is like, for this, you get 3 secrets. How to ethically convince clients to pay you 4 to 11 per deal. How to ensure every client's ready to pull out their wallet before you start working and make 250. And then how to scale it, right? So this is secret number 1. You have and I use it from Russell Brunson, your hook, story, offer. Stop selling like everybody else is doing it and stop worrying about where you're going to cold call. Just go straight to LinkedIn, go to Reddit, go to YouTube, go to YouTube comments, go to Upwork. This is how much money I had come in. This is how much money I got collected. This is how it works, right? And then how much did this cost? I lost $1 million to figure all this shit out. Who this works for? You guys. Secret number 2 is how to ensure every client's ready to pull out their wallet and make $250 per meeting. First, we have a 15-minute qualifying call, $250 project scope document, present the proposal, right? And so what happens is, and I'm just telling you guys how I'm selling this. You guys don't know how to make the project scope document. Cool. Everything's in my course. It's $250. There you go. You have everything that you need. There's nothing more to be successful right here. And guess what? It pays for itself in 1 meeting. There's no risk. Go and get 1 meeting. It's $250, right? And so that's how I'm selling this. Now I just have to transfer it and just sell it to the businesses and be like, follow these 3 steps to make $2 million. Get a CRM system, put AI into it, and then hire a professional. And here's the things that you need to look for when you're hiring a professional. They need to build a project scope document. Oh, you want that project scope document? I miraculously, just magically know how to do that. It's $250. So now that you guys are here, because this is my favorite picture, how many of you guys feel like this little girl? So Brandon, if you're wondering, I purchased this for everybody. It was $130.
Yes, I saw that in there in the
Yeah.
course
So
in the
I
back
put
end.
Russell Brunson's 9-hour videos inside here. I
Hmm.
don't know if it's legal, but I don't think he cares.
I
But
won't say anything.
each day is 9 hours long, and this is where I learned it from. I've read every single one of Russell Brunson's books. For some reason, on Christmas time, when I took this, I was on every single day for 9 hours, all 3 days. The only thing that I really learned that was different is sell one to many. Now, Kathy, Bernard, Mario, whoever else is in here, understand and get the project scope document down first before you start selling one to many. You're not gonna, no one's gonna buy the project scope document from you if you haven't sold a minimum of like 10 or 20 of them. Like they're gonna be able to see that you don't know what you're talking about up front. And I didn't know what I was talking about up front either. Like I've been doing this for 7 months and I've been able to sell them. Obviously, you can see them in my sales calls, but it's taken me a lot of practice. These webinars I started having once a day last week. The first one was 2.5 hours long. I had one on Saturday this afternoon and I got it down to like 63 minutes. So it takes a lot of repetition and a lot of time to go through it. So go and sell that before you start selling one to many and understand the process and how to do it, right? It's taken me 6 months. Now I feel comfortable that I could go and sell this one to many because I can go back and say, like, what's the commonalities between all these people that I've spoken to and how can I package it and how can I put it into these three little, I wouldn't call them maybe I would call them secrets. I don't know, but I'll put it into like, where did that go? Like, the three problems that every single business has, right? So that they can resonate with it. Problem number one is there's not enough hours in the day for you to keep up with all the business and all the stuff that you need to do. And you can't rely on your employees to make it happen. Like you're letting things slip through the cracks, right? Or something like that. I don't know what it would be. I have to sit down and really organize it. But this is what I'm doing. I'm just going to run people to this website, copy this, change out the wordings of this stuff, right? And go through and do this. And this, I literally copied this from the perfect webinar script, I think it is. Look at this website. Like I literally just copied this from Perfect Webinar Secrets. I think this is it. Yeah, this is Russell Brunson's. I literally just looked at it. I'm like, if he's running this, then I'll just copy exactly what he's doing. Like, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. You can go and buy this actually. Like, I mean, you don't even have to. I put the videos in there. But this is exactly what Russell Brunson does. I made mine look exactly the same. Obviously none of his story is here, but the layout is definitely there. Like the colors, the big words, the little words, all this stuff. I made my own stories, but the layout is the same, right? That's a little bit of sales help for you guys. But it goes back to what I was saying earlier is like these large companies, they don't lay off salespeople, right? Salespeople are what drives the business. So even if you're not good at sales, you don't need to sell anything to anybody because they're buying it from you, right? You're getting them so interested that they want to buy. And what they buy is that they're buying their own proposal. That's what they're buying from you. You're charging them to make a proposal for them. And they're just like, yeah, I'm in. I want to buy it. This is awesome. This is
I
exactly
feel like I feel like your proposals are a little deeper than what the competitors' proposals are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Like
Yeah.
we do that on purpose. And I did not create that. That's Adam and Brendan. When I saw that, I was like, dude, we need to use this to our advantage. This
Yeah.
gets them to buy. This isn't, you guys are doing this after you talk to them. We need to sell this as like we need them to help us
Yeah.
put it. And
Yeah.
then Adam and Brendan were like, yeah, that's good. Well, I didn't really tell them that. I just started doing it. And they were like, yeah, dude, that actually works. That's a good idea.
It's like something you would build after you sign them on, but you putting it on the front end is really smart because why do the other proposal really doesn't make the regular proposal makes no sense anyway. It's irrelevant. Like what you give is relevant. The other part that you initially give a client is irrelevant. I remember when I first opened my marketing company, I used to do something like that, but I do phase one, phase two, phase three, phase four. And it's kind of like a customer journey, but it was how the campaigns would run. And I remember my campaigns would close, but other people that just did general stuff, there's that's who I would compete against, and I usually would close them because I was like, this is how the campaign would. However, sometimes I would get burnt, and they would take my whole campaign and hire someone else.
Well,
Um,
and
and that's because I didn't think, to charge them to do that little piece before. I was looking at the big picture instead of micro, like breaking it down a little bit smaller, like you did. So it is genius.
yeah, and then what happens is like I encourage them, and gets them to buy because when you give somebody an out and you give somebody an option to buy, they don't feel sold to. It's the same way as I was telling you about the menu where the girl's standing outside and she's like, "Oh, look, we have beer, we have this, we have that." When you know you already are hungry, like you're like, "No, I don't want to go there. That girl is like too invasive." Like you don't think that, but that's the reason why you didn't go there, right? Now, if that girl was like, "Wait, are you guys from here? You don't speak Spanish, do you?" You'd laugh. You'd be like, "No, we're not from here." And then if she was like, "Well, what are you guys doing while you're here? I might have some recommendations for you." Right? This is how these girls outside of the sales outside of the restaurant should sell because now I'm going to go through this little activity is like if the girl was like made a joke, right? This is your hook. The girl is like, "Hey, you guys speak Spanish? Can you translate something for me?" They'd be like, "No, we don't speak Spanish." Ah, okay. So then you guys are here on vacation. What are you guys doing this week? Have you guys gone to Chichen Itza? Have you guys gone out down to Xcaret? Do you guys play golf? I have some really good golf recommendations for you. You'd stop and you'd be like, "No, what kind of things? What else could we do?" And like, come here. I'll tell you. Like, what are you guys into? You guys like nightlife? I mean, I know where you guys can go hang out, or do you guys want like romantic dinners, right? And the couple, let's just say it's a couple, they might be like, no, I don't know. Yeah, what would be cool, right? So the girl's gonna tell them all the cool stuff because she's a local, right? She knows where to go. And then how she could close them to come into the restaurant, she'd be like, well, since you guys want something romantic. I would suggest don't eat here. This isn't romantic, right? This isn't like romantic, but there's a really romantic spot on the beach. It's called Zanzibar or it's called like Fusion, right? You guys should definitely go there later tonight. Like that's one of the best spots. Me and my boyfriend go there all the time. But if you guys are just looking for something casual, I mean, to be honest, like don't get the chicken sandwich here, but the burger is really fucking good. I would recommend that. It's quick, it's easy. And they would be like, "Hey, if you want to try this spot, this place looks pretty good. I mean, she's recommended we should go to that place Fusion tonight." Yeah, come on in. You know, like that's how they should sell this. That's how you would sell someone sitting outside because you get them to want to buy. It's like a right hook in a boxing match, right? It's like here's the distraction, but boom, gotcha, right? And you become their friend really quickly. You made a joke, you did a hook. It's a hook story offer, right? A hook is, do you guys speak Spanish? Get really good at making these people laugh and stop Because if you can get them to stop, you can have a conversation to tell them the story, right? It's the same reason why you watch so many videos on Instagram. Think of the ones that you scroll past, right? They didn't have a hook. Think of the ones that you end up watching and you get stuck watching a 2 minute stupid fucking video of a cat falling off a windowsill, right? Because you're like, what happens next? The hook was like the ball fell over the windowsill and then the cat jumps up and then you see something the cat doesn't see and it's like, what's going to happen? Well, that's the story. And the offer is what happens and what's the end of the video, right? Think of how many videos you stopped at on Instagram and which ones you didn't. So if you can get really good at making a joke on the side of the street and getting someone to stop, you don't move forward until that, right? If you can get 10 out of 10 people to stop from what you say in the beginning, hey, can you translate something for me? Or are you a tourist, right? Like some of the guys at Chichen Itza will say in English, like, hey, we're not here to rip you off, but we're going to charge you $10 for this. And they have like a little, it's stupid. My dad fucking bought this. It looks like a dildo, and it's not, but it's a back massage thing. And my dad and the guy will say, we'll rip you off on this, but I'm sure your wife will like it. And you look at it, and it's like, what the hell is that? Right? But it's a hook. It got my dad to stop and be like, "What are you talking about? Why would you say that about my wife?" No, you're thinking you got a dirty mind. What are you talking about? It's for your back. Come here, try it. And then you start trying it. And then my mom's like, "Wow, that was hilarious. That's not what I thought it was." Right? And then it becomes a joke. And then my dad's rubbing it on her back, and my mom's like, "Yeah, I want that. That actually is pretty cool." And the guy's like, "Well, look, it's made of onyx. It's from the Mayans. This is where this comes from." Right? And so he has his hook that's really good. He has the story because he gets my mom and my dad to joke around, and then he makes this offer. It's Mayan onyx, and it's here, and it's really special, and it's only $20, right? And so if you can get really good, you start at that simple thing, at that first thing. Don't worry about the story and the offer. Just get really good at getting their attention first, right? And so that's the main one. That's how this stuff works. And Russell Brunson has it down to a science, has it down to a science of hook, story, offer. It works in any fashion. It works on an Instagram video. It works to sell a massage thing at the pyramids. It works for the girls selling the thing. But what they do is they give you the offer right away. Hey, look, we got beers half off right now. Come now, right? You got to do hook, story, offer. And that's the biggest thing. And just think about dating. You would not go to a girl or a guy in a bar and say, hey, I really like your shoes. You want to get married tomorrow and have kids? They'd be like, no. Well, that's what you guys are doing. Not you guys specifically, but that's what these guys are doing when they sell this stuff.
I've been thinking about since I've been in the live. So, because I'm in the service department, automotive industry, and every time like a customer will call in, and then I'll make an appointment with them, they'll say, "Oh, like I look at the project scope as it's a diagnosis for a car, right? So they bring the car in, check engine light is on. I tell them, okay, well." Then I'll ask them questions. So when did it come on? Is the engine running rough or things like that? When did it come on and all that? Okay, well, we need to perform diagnosis because I don't know, right? So we charge $250 for diagnosis. And then soon as I get an update from the technician on what we find, maybe later on today or tomorrow, then I'll let you know what it needs. And then that's when I tell them, hey, this is what my technician found, blah, blah, blah. It costs this much to fix it. So that's why I was kind of like looking at it, and they pay. I mean, obviously, because they need the car running.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Um,
The diagnostic report is your project scope document.
And it's
yeah, and
not
then,
one mechanic that doesn't charge that now, too. Every mechanic will charge
oh,
exactly
yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah. It's like, there's no more like, oh, can you just, and a lot of people think, oh, you can just hook up the code reader and then you can, I'm like, no, there's more to it than look at it's a starting point. There's more to it than looking at the code. Oh, AutoZone or O'Reilly's told me this is the code. So can you just replace that? Well, I can replace it, but it's not guaranteed that's gonna work, right? It's not gonna guarantee that's gonna fix it.
You can ask them too, like if they, well, I don't really know how this works, but you know, do they own the car or do they lease
Lease
it,
it.
right?
Yeah.
So if they own the car, it's like, well, yeah, I could totally do that, but like, what's important to you? Are you like this car's not going to last forever, right? And they'd be like,
Hmm.
well, yeah, what do you mean? It's like, well, are you interested in the resale value? Like, what would happen if we did something and that led to a bigger problem, and now you're stuck with you could have gotten 10 grand for the car, but when you go to sell it, you can only get three because it's broken, right? And they would be like,
Hmm.
I never thought about that. Yeah, so this is why our dealership is different than everybody else, is because we focus on the resale value of your cars because we know that you're probably going to need a new car, and we'd love for you to come back and share it with your friends, right? And they're
Hmm.
like, oh, I never really thought about the resale value. Yeah, so what I would suggest, and you're open to do whatever you want. We could fix it, or we could just do what you want and put this in for, 500 bucks. But the AutoZone thing, that's
Hmm.
that's free. They don't know everything about the car, right? So
Yeah.
what we do is we do a full diagnostic for $250, which it's almost like an insurance policy for yourself. You have insurance on your car, right? Because you're not able to not drive it without insurance. So it's the same thing. So for the 250, we can get the full diagnostic and then we can see will there be problems in the future so that, Mr. Mark, I'm making up his name, will have a higher resale value when the car is done with, right? That's probably if someone owns it, not if someone leases it, because it
Hmm.
won't really work with a lease because the car company will buy it. The dealership will probably just buy it back, or they already have it tied into money somewhere. But you know, see you, Brandon. But like that hook gets them to think, and then it's like, I never thought about the resale value. All right, yeah, yeah, because I don't want. I mean, if I am gonna sell it, or make, or you could do like they have a wedding ring on. It's like maybe you're gonna hand this down to your kids. We don't want them to get stranded in the middle of the night, on the side of the highway because we didn't do a stupid diagnostic for 250 bucks, right? Like
Yeah.
just something like that. And then
Yeah.
they're like, oh yeah. And then now they have the option. It's like, do I pay 250 or do I just get this? It doesn't matter to me, but the logical sense is like just pay the 250, right? And then from there, now you have an upsell, and then you get the diagnostic, and it's like, okay, you know, I don't know, you need transmission fluid flush. Uh, I don't know whatever it is. I'm just making it up. But now it went from one problem to another, and they're like, oh, and then now you can say like, for 600 bucks, we do the transmission flush, which is going to save you 6 grand for a brand new transmission, right? Because you're really low
Hmm.
on it. And the diagnostic thing didn't work because your sensor is actually broken. So you need a new sensor. And good thing we paid the 250 because I just saved you 6 grand, right? And then you get an upsell. I'm making it up. I don't know how it works, but that's usually like things from a diagnostic test can show that stuff, right?
Yeah. And then usually, like if they're with their wife or their husband or something, they'll be like, yeah,
Easier
let's
because they're like,
let's
yeah,
just yeah, it's like let's just go and do it. It's already there. We need the car this weekend or something.
yeah,
They don't
exactly.
want to shop around anymore. And the trust is there now too.
Mhm.
My husband's had us when we're gonna buy a used car, he'll take it to our mechanic and he'll pay the 250 diagnostic on it before he even pays for the car. So
Yeah, pre-purchase safety inspection, make sure everything's is good and intact. Yep.
Hey Bernard, I'm an advisor also, so I'm right there with you in that same trying to find the same spiel, you gotta know what to say, how to say it, when to bring it up,
Yeah.
all that kind of thing. But you got to narrow it down. Obviously, you get a lot of people that they just can't afford it. So if
You
you
guys have Sunbit? We sell Sunbit.
yeah, Sunbit, yep, that's a good option. Honestly, that thing's like a payment option. It works
Hmm.
sometimes, but when you weigh the options out, you have new ways and new offers and new this and that to try to get us to sell more. But you
Hmm.
gotta you gotta talk. You're not trying to. You got to talk without using your own wallet. And then when you talk to them themselves, you don't know how much money they have. They can be well, if they may not be well off. That's kind of like
Yeah, that's why I was
in seven
telling.
to get on a call.
Yeah, that's why I was telling the other advisor like long time ago. He kept asking me, "How do you upsell all this stuff?" And I'm like, I just tell them the truth. I'm being ethical. I mean, I don't want them to break down, right? And he's like, and then and then I watch him how he does it. Like, man, they can't afford this. They can. I'm like, dude, why do you say they can't afford it? Because he's basing it off of his wallet, and I'm like, bro, you don't even know if this car is like a memento from their dad or grandpa or something. You don't know if they're multimillionaire. You gotta just offer it to them because you never know. Because what if this is the only vehicle that they have for their whole family and they really need it done? And also, what if they don't want to pay? A lot of people nowadays, I mean, they don't want to pay another monthly and get stuck another 5, 7 years
Payment.
sometimes, on payment on brand new car, you know. And then he's like, "Oh, I never even thought about that." Well, dude, and then once he started that, he was selling a lot of stuff. He was trying to cheapen out on selling stuff. I'm like, bro, just let him know honestly, this is what it needs, I mean, you can break it up. Hey, Mr. So and so, we can do this today. These, we can hold off for like 2, 3 months, but make sure you get them done. Let's schedule you for that one, you know? And he's like, "Oh, they can afford." I'm like, dude, you don't know what their situation is, if they can or cannot afford it.
Yeah, pre-qualify first, but in our case, we just got to implement it into a different business, which is what we're learning here with Nick. So luckily we have that practice we can use on a different business to implement here, which
Yeah.
is all we have to do.
And
Yeah,
just
like Nick was saying, it's just the mindset of it because it's new to us.
No.
and selling out of your pocket, that was something I know, like my best friend, me and her used to sell side by side, and she used to always be like, "Kathy, stop selling out of your pocket." And as soon as I figured it out, for me, how what helps me not sell out of my pocket is with Nick's layout. He's targeting companies that can afford what we do, you know. Whereas like the BNI and some of that stuff, some of those people really can't. And I just spent last year dealing with that. And even when some of the things I did was I would pre-qualify them by asking them certain questions. And once I started asking certain questions, it got me out of working with the $97 or the $100 a month client. Um, so
That's the biggest thing in this is you have to attract the client right from the beginning. And I learned that from Jeff Miller. And that comes down to the advertising or just the expectations before anything even starts, right? Like you saw those ads that I have. Those ads strictly call out the audience right away. It's not like if I want to work with $1 million clients, I'm not going to say like small businesses, click here, right? It's like, million-dollar clients who want to double their revenue within the next 6 months. Start adding AI into your business. Like, so I get them on the hook of like AI is needed inside your business, but in my webinar, I'm not going to talk about AI because I need to educate them because they don't know how it works. And every single person that is out there selling AI starts with AI, like the girl at the front desk or the front of the street with their menu. Look at what we have. We have this package, this package, this package. It does this, 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 and this. But if I take it a step back, I'm going to tell you, I'm gonna give you a story again. I know I talk, but I use this in the webinar because this story resonates with a lot of just it explains it extremely well. And so when I was working in New York for the medical device industry, I want you to take the story, I want you to listen to it and listen to the structure of how this works. What I was just saying is like all the AI people are talking about AI up front, just like the girl on the menu. So with the menu. So I had from April until like October, I could ride my motorcycle for work in New York City because of the weather. And I could park faster. I could not have to pay as much in parking, and I wouldn't get a ticket because I could park in between the cars rather than have to circle around the hospitals and whatnot looking for parking or double park and get a $200 ticket, right? And so what I would do is I started to learn this by my appearance became my hook because I had a helmet on and I had a leather jacket and I would walk into the office of the OBGYNs so they would think that I'm probably one of their patient's husband just waiting for them. And they had no clue that I was a rep selling them messenger RNA HPV pap testing. Like I just did not fit that that like profile. So all of the other reps were sitting with their suit and tie, with their briefcase, their iPad, waiting in the hallway or waiting in the waiting room. And the doctor would come out and he'd walk past them and he would say, "Hold on one second, guys. I have patients, just be busy." And the little reps would be like, "Yeah, no worries, doctor. I'm here. I'm excited to meet with you." And the doctor was like, "These guys are fucking annoying. Like they come every day, they bring us lunch, and I have to talk to them. I just have to go through the thing, but their budgets feed my entire office staff. Like that's the game of selling pharmaceuticals and medical devices." So when I walked in with my helmet and my leather jacket, they would sit there and they would walk past me and I'd say, "Doc, real quick, when you do a pap test and you get an HSIL reading and then you go and do the colpo or the biopsy and it comes back negative, how does that make you feel? Or how often does that happen?" And they would look at me and be like, "Who the hell are you? Like, why are you asking me that? Like, how do you even know that?" And I'd be like, "No, seriously, like, the reason why I ask is because you're sending a Quest and you're sending a LabCorp, but you're using an mRNA test and a DNA test, but there's no congruency in your office." And they would be like, "Come with me for a second." And they would bring me into their office. And the other reps would be sitting there for an hour before I walked in. And he'd sit me down and he'd be like, "What are you talking about?" And I would say, "Well, this would be my story." I would be like, "Well, I'm just confused. I was looking at the stuff. So I work for Hologic, which is the manufacturer of the test that you use at Quest. But you'd also send to LabCorp and you send to Sunrise and you send to all these other labs, Enzo and whatever. And I don't understand why you're not using just one test for all of them." And they'd be like, "Well, why, I don't understand. Why would I?" And I'm like, "Well, how many times have you had this conversation with the patient that you did this test, you did the biopsy, and it came back negative?" And they're like, "Yeah, it happens quite often." And I'm like, "And how annoying are those conversations? Because you just ran them through this whole rigmarole, and the patient comes back, and after you did all that, they're like, 'Oh no, nothing is wrong.'" And they're like, "Yeah, it happens all the time." I'm like, "Yeah, now you became their therapist. They think their wife is cheating on them. They don't know where they got this from. And then you come back and you tell them that everything is good." And they're like, "Yeah, because I have malpractice insurance. And if I let it go to cancer, then that becomes a big problem." And I'm like, yeah, wouldn't it be cool if you didn't have to have those conversations? Do me a favor, pull up the patients that you've had those conversations with the past and tell me what lab you sent them to. And I'd sit and I'd wait and they'd go through and they'd be like, LabCorp, 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 Sunrise, LabCorp. And I'm like, it doesn't happen at Quest, does it? And they're like, no, not really. And I'm like, yeah, because you're using a messenger RNA test. And what that means is it's a little bit more specific. Actually, in fact, it's 34% more specific, which means it reduces the false positives. You're having unnecessary conversations because you're getting too many false positives. And they would be like, Sally, can you come in here? Nick is going to help you change the codes in the EMR system. Can you please listen to whatever he has to say? We're already using his product. I'm like, yeah, thanks, Sally. All right, thanks, doctor. I'll see you later. I'd go in, I'd change the codes out, and now every single person that came in there was now using my tests. My boss would be like, how the hell are you exceeding your quota? The reps would see me at another office and be like, yo, bro, why are you a rep? Like, you're driving around on a motorcycle, you come in here and you think you could just talk to the doctors? I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm selling my shit. And they didn't understand what was going on. And the doctors would then call me, and this is how I was able to leave my job and travel around the world and buy a car and drive to Mexico while doing FaceTime videos for my clients. My boss had no idea. None of these people had any idea, and they would rather just talk to me on FaceTime, and I would just give my other reps my credit card and just be like, yeah, buy the fucking lunch. Call me when you need me to talk. And I'd be driving in Mexico doing nonsense. Hey, doctor, what's going on? How are you? Yeah. All right. ACOG on page 72 of the guidelines says that you need to do a reflex, and they would call me for this stuff because I knew my shit. And it was, if I started out like every other rep, oh, doc, yeah, we just came out with this new clinical trial. It reduces false positives by 34%. Check here on page 36. It says this. You're not going to have these types of conversations with women about, this, that, and the other thing. They're like, no, I'm not interested. But when you get to their problem, and so if whatever you think that you're going to sell, back it up and figure out that hook, because that hook is like the most important thing, and that hook will get you to get to the offer or the story, right? The story was, I have malpractice insurance. I can't let this go to cancer, but I have to double check. I know it's an invasive procedure, but I can't rely on this test when I go and do the colposcopy. I know I'm talking about, things that aren't the nicest things, but they would go and do the colposcopy, they wouldn't see it, so they had to do a biopsy to confirm that it wasn't there. And it wasn't there, and then the patient's like, oh my God, why'd you have me come in 3 times? I had to do a biopsy and all this stuff. And they'd be like, yeah, sorry, no, everything is good. All the tests came back negative. And that was my story because I knew that the doctor did not want to have those conversations, and they weren't. The problem was is that they were using a DNA test at the other laboratories, whereas Quest defaulted to our mRNA test, which was just more specific. That was it. That was it. There was not really anything more special than that. It still did the same thing. It's just we got better test results, meaning if there was just a reduction in false positives, meaning if it's a true negative, it is truly a negative. There's no like false positive in there. And I just wore my helmet and my leather jacket. That was it. And it worked. And I just sold millions and millions and millions of dollars for the company. And then I realized, like, why am I just not doing this for myself? And now I started to do this. It's only taken me 15 years to figure it out, but I went back and realized like these are what I was doing. I was doing a hook story offer. I just didn't look at it that way, but I purposely put my leather jacket on. I purposely wore my helmet to do that type of stuff until I met Russell, not met him, but started reading Russell Brunson's stuff. I'm like, I've been doing that. I just didn't have a structure for it to be called that. But yeah, that makes sense. That's what I was doing. I was just coming in. I was using my appearance as something. So you guys can do this stuff. It's not hard. Sales is not hard if you get them to buy things and you talk about it in a way where they get to make the decision, but they see you as the professional, right?
Exactly.
So I don't know, that's a story that I started to tell. I completely forgot about it until I saw this hook story offer. And I'm like, oh man, I remember doing that. I would just show up on my motorcycle, and it was funny because when I would open my mouth, they'd be like, what are you talking about? How do you know all this stuff? Who are you? Who do you work? Do you work for a company, or are you someone's husband? Like, and I'm like, no, yeah, I do. I work for Hologic. They'd be like, what's Hologic? And I'm like, oh, well, this, that, and the other thing. So, well, I hope this, I don't know, this conversation was, let's call it, uh, motivational. You guys are going to go watch my videos of me just selling the $250 project scope document. Stop worrying about what you think you're going to do or what you need to do. What you need to do is just get really good at your hook. The hook is sending out these little messages on Upwork and getting them into a meeting to sell the project scope document. And once you get a bunch of people to get on a call, I don't even want you to close them on the project scope document. Don't do that just yet. There's a learning curve. Just get it to a point where you can get them on a call. And once you get them on a call and you get maybe 3 or 4 and you suck at it, good. Now you go and figure out how do I structure my call to get them to tell me about their business and then present them the solution, the offer of I think we should build out a project scope document, right? Get really good at just getting their attention to get on a meeting. If you get them on a meeting, be vulnerable and be yourself and be like, look, I'm new to this part of the game, but I'm not new to being able to help you grow your business. I'm more of a tech person. I understand this stuff. I really suck at sales, so I'm not here to sell you anything. But what I can do is I can show you a proper system. And what I mean is a process that can help this become successful. And once you say that, their guard will just go down. You just opened up to them and you told them a weakness that you have, and they'll be like, oh, okay, I'll listen. And you can stumble around on your words, and you might not be able to do it that well. And maybe you get 5 or 6 people on a call. One of them's gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna give you a chance, right? And that's great. And then you just keep getting better and better and better and better. And then you just be like, Nick, all right, look, I'm getting really good at this. Can you get on one of my calls? I'll get on one of your calls with you, right? I have no problem getting on one of your calls with you so that you can see it. And then when I'm on one of your calls, now you're like, oh, wow, okay, that doesn't have to be that hard. Now you got really good at getting the person on the call, and you started to get really good at getting them up to the point to make the payment for the project scope document. And then at that point, now you're going to suck at making the project scope document, right? And at that point, you have 3 people that paid you $250, and now you're up 700 bucks. 250, yeah, 700 bucks. And now at that point, you can join the Go High Level Mastery group for $497 a month. You pay $497 out of the 700, so now you have $200 that you made profit, and you dish off 3 of the project scope documents to Adam and Brendan, and now you don't have to do any of the work because you don't. You just get them to buy that 250 document. You pay for the project scope document, or you make 200. You pay for your membership, and now they're building out the project scope document. And now all you got to do is get really good at just reading off the page of how things will work. It's written right in front of you. Well, when this happens, Mr. Roofer, you told me that you wanted an internal email sent to your guy. Is that right? Okay, cool. Let's move to the next step. After that internal email is sent, the scheduling of the roof inspection needs to happen. So we're going to call the homeowner and we're going to make sure that they're home, right? Is that still correct? Does that make sense? Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what we need. And you can do this? Yeah, I'll tell you how we're going to do it in a minute. Okay, so once the roof inspection goes well, you have 2 ways that it can go. It's too expensive, or no, even before that. You told me that you need to get a quote out to them, right? Cool. You send the quote. Then what happens? Do they need to email you? Do they need to text you? Oh no, they sign on PandaDoc? Cool. We're going to get rid of PandaDoc for you because it's included in our system that we can build. And you just go through line by line. That's it. You're just reading the flow of how their business works. And then they're like, yeah, that's amazing. You can do all of this. And you're like, yeah, we can. And in some places, we're going to put AI there so that you don't even have to have an employee. You'll never have to train them again. And it'll run on autopilot for you. We'll tell you what that's going to look like, but we're going to get through this. And I'm going to show you if we decide to work together for the price that I'm going to show you in a minute, then it's going to turn into a detailed project scope. And at that point, you're going to be working with our team. You're going to be assigned a project manager. I'm going to be on the calls. The project manager is going to be on the calls. And now you're not even doing anything. You're just reading off the page and you're just telling them, yeah, our team's going to handle it for you. That's it. You don't have to build anything. You don't have to get anything from them because now you just sold that for let's just say 15 grand. That just bought you 6 months in the Go High Level Mastery Tier 1 program, right? Because you just made, 7 grand. It costs $2,000 it costs $1,000. That's 7 months free inside the group because your client paid. Now you just rinse and rinse and repeat and repeat. And now you start making money because you didn't have to get any money out of pocket. You're not paying to be in this group. The client is paying Adam and Brendan to build this for you while you collect a commission. Put it that way. I mean, that's really what it is. You're just the middleman, and they're paying Adam and Brendan to build it, and you get money from Adam and Brendan buying the deal from you. That's how it works. And so it starts at those little step-by-step processes. So I would say go watch all the videos that I have inside the group of just the first 10 to 15 minute calls. That's it. Just listen to that in your earphones while you're at work. Like just put it on play while you're working. Just listen to me talk to the client and listen to their problems and how I adjust it. That's where all this works. Don't go make postcards, Bernard. Don't go don't make a website. Don't go to any meetings because you're going to try to convince people. Get that down, go to Upwork, make a profile, and get really good at sending a message. And maybe this week I'll try to throw in that stuff. Gabby.
How many on Upwork? How many connections do you do a week? Like how many submits when you first did? When you first closed the 3 in 30 days or something like that. How many were you submitting a day or a week?
I would have to look at my like the exact number, but I can give you this. For every $90 that I spend, which is 2 orders of 300 connects, so 600 connects, that's $90. I land 4 paid meetings of 250. So for every $90 I spend on Upwork, and I don't carry it over. Like I don't go through maybe I do. I don't go through all 600, but for every time that I deposit 90, I get 4 meetings back. So that means I make $1,000. And off those 4 meetings, well, 4, 2 of them probably won't go with me or they've ghosted me. I've had 2 people ghost me, so I made $500 for making the project scope document and they never responded. I don't know why. They just never responded. 250 wasn't a thing for them. They didn't care. Um, I will close 2 of those. And so that means that it's a minimum of at least like 12 grand, 10 grand, right? And so I'll make $3,600 here, $3,600 here. So for $90, I'm making like 7 grand plus the what's it called? Plus the monthly, right?
Yeah, I
Does
get
that,
that.
does
I
that-
have to memorize because I never attended your meetings. I was I have some reporting to do to Justin. He's really on me right now.
Justin,
Not in a
who?
good way, huh?
Who is Justin? I'm sorry.
Oh, my husband.
Oh, okay.
My husband's like, yeah, because we've been married 30 years. So
Right.
he seen me when I was highly successful, and he's just kind of annoyed with me right now.
Yeah, you gotta get like for $90, you should get at least 4 meetings. Um, and that comes down to like, you know, just looking at their profile, looking at their proposal, whatever they're proposing that they need, and and what I really do is I just say, yeah, I saw your proposal. It's a little bit vague or it's really detailed. I do have some questions, but I'll explain to you how I work, right? First, we have to get on a 10 to 15-minute call just to go over what it is exactly that you want and see if we're a good fit. Second is, if we are a good fit, I built something out which is called a project scope document. I attached it here in the attachments or I give the link. This is what it looks like. It's just us getting on the same page. It takes about 45 minutes of me just talking to you. And then from there, we can decide whether or not it's a good fit to work together. And either they're like, yeah, I'm in, or they don't respond. And that's it. Like that's all I say. And then when they get on the call, I just go over like, all right, yeah, cool, nice to meet you. So I'm looking at your little description of what you need built out. Can you explain a little bit about it? Like what's going on? And then they just talk for 20 minutes and then I just go right back in a circle. Okay, cool. What I would suggest is that we build this out. You know, I sent this in the thing the other day. I don't know if you took a look at it, but basically this is your customer journey. This does two things. It allows me to come to you and give you a price, and for you, it allows you to have everything from your head on paper. And if we don't work together, you can just go and pass this off to whoever you want. Just delete my price and go shop around and see who can do it better than me. I don't know if you'll find somebody that can do it better than us, but you're more than welcome to. Like, this is all it is. I'm just going to build this out. That way, we're on the same page. You don't have to spend time with me on calls going back and forth. I don't build something wrong and then you get pissed off at me and be like, "Oh, dude, I know you said this. I said this, and I thought we were going to build this. That was what we talked about the other day." Like, I'm busy. You're busy. We don't have time to go back and forth. And they're like, "Yeah, that makes sense." Okay, so you said this is 250? Yeah, it's 250. Okay, yeah, just send me the link. Let's do it. Right? That's the conversation. That is literally the conversation. That's it. That's all I have. I mean, they might talk a lot. Um, you know, I sometimes I like ask them, not like a joke, but I'll ask them like, okay, tell me a little bit more about that. Like, what happens when you do that? And they're like, oh. Then I try to find the money. I try to find how much money they're making. Like, how much is the missed opportunity that they're making? Like, if you're a roofer, cool. You're not answering phone calls. How many phone calls do you guys get like a week? They're like, I don't know. Maybe like 20. And I'm like, are you just making that up? They're like, yeah, I don't know. That's a job that so and so does. Okay, well let's say this. Let's say you had 10 calls. If you got every single one of them on the call, how many can you close? And they're like, I can close like 9. Okay. And then how many do you think is actually happening? And they're like, maybe 3. I'm like, okay, so you're missing 6 a month. And they're like, yeah. And then I'll make a joke if it's a roofing company or whatever. I'm like, so I was looking at the roofs the other day. You guys make 25 grand a roof. Maybe I should stop doing what I'm doing. And they're like, no, no, that's what it costs. I'm like, oh, because 25 grand a roof, I might just go work with these Mexican guys here and start being a roofer. And they joke, but really I'm trying to get the number. And they're like, no, no, no. We do like maybe 8 grand to 10 grand. Okay, so it's safe to say that you're losing 48 grand to 60 grand a month just because you can't answer the phones. And then they're like, I never thought about it like that. Holy shit. Yeah. I mean, I guess, yeah. And I'm like, I didn't tell you that. You told me that. So now I have my number. So for the third phone call, when I go and present to them this proposal, I start the conversation out with that. So I do the project scope document, and then on the third phone call, I say, "Hey, Michael, just so that we're on the same page, the reason why we built this out is because you told me that you guys are missing anywhere between 48 to 60 grand a month just because you can't keep up with the phone calls. Are we still like around that situation? And they'll be like, nah, or yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's where we're at. Because they don't know that I'm trying to sell them, but I'm setting them up for the close. And so when they know when I start the conversation out like that, they go into this knowing that there is a very big value behind this. And when he presents this number to me of how much it's going to cost, that number is irrelevant because I'm emotionally like, damn, I forgot. I'm possibly missing out on 60 grand a month just because I don't have this. And so when I go through the close, I'm sitting there saying, okay, you know, this right here, the AI is going to answer. This is when I start talking about AI. The AI is going to pass this off to your employee that you told me that missed this when we first started talking. Like the AI is going to work with your employee. And they're like, okay, I see it. And then I'm like, okay, now that 10 phone calls, we were conservative saying that you were closing 3 or whatever we talk about. And then I'm going through and I'm honing in on that number. Because when I present this to them, it's the same way I did it to you, Kathy. You can afford 497, right? I did the same thing. Whereas now I get to the price, I'm like, okay, so this is going to take 5 weeks to build, 1 week to do this, 1 week to train you, 1 week to test it, whatever, a total of 6 weeks. We're going to break this down into payments because we want you to get on the trajectory to getting 60 grand a month in from those missed calls. And if you have this, you're going to be making more. And they're like, yeah, okay, so everything here is $22,000, right? So if I tell you that you're going to spend 22 grand one time and you're going to make 60 grand a month for the next 12 months, 22 grand is not that much. And now that I've been doing this, I'm starting to see that of like, I should probably sell this in equity. Like for every booked call, I should probably get $100. Or for every, you know, deal that you guys get and the AIs require for it, I should get like 10% or 5% where I'm getting equity in it. Because now I can lower the price of 22 grand and I can have two prices. Either it's 50 grand up front or it's 22 grand with 10% or 5% equity or 5% for every deal that you close and we'll keep track of it, right? That's where my next play is because now I've given them two options. Do you want to spend 50 grand up front or do you want to spend 22 and give me 5% of every roof that you guys close? Right? So
Like
now,
it's like an hybrid with the commission and the back end.
yeah. So that's kind of my next thing. I mean, I don't know. I have a lot going on, but like I've been thinking about that type of stuff. That's the
Uh,
type of
since we're not recording, um, all have you ever been scared of failing, though, Nick?
failing in what? In building this?
In anything, in anything, have
When
you
you
ever?
first started too. Yeah.
Yeah, how were you scared of failing?
Yeah, I'm extremely afraid to fail, but if I think about failing, then I probably will. Like, I'll give you an example, for instance. Right now, I'm running these ads. I'm paying somebody $2,500 a month to pay for to run these ads, and I'm spending about 3 grand to just run the ads. So it's about $5,500 to run
Mm-hmm.
this stuff, right? And I'm breaking even on the $3,000 ad spend, but I'm not covering my $2,500. So it's not working. And I've been running it for 3 months. So I've spent $7,500 that I don't have. It's on credit cards, right? Because I have a house that I have to pay here in Mexico. I just sold my house, which I owed a shit ton of taxes on. So like I'm in the hole financially, but I have no other choice. The only way to figure it out is to keep going, right? Because I know that what I'm teaching you guys is working. It is working. It's bringing in money for me to live my life, pay my bills, but it's not making enough because I made bad decisions before I got into this position. right? So this whole entire house that I had in New York, that was paying for my life. I was making like 17 grand a month from that house. And I over leveraged myself and I bought this house in Tulum knowing I didn't need all 17 grand to pay for that house. I took a balloon loan on the house in Tulum, meaning that every 6 months the loan went up 3% for 8 years. And
Mm-hmm.
so this house was supposed to pay for this one, and it didn't because I had squatters in this house and I had the government closed down Airbnb and I got fucked and now I'm left with this. But every single thing that I'm doing to work for right now is not going in my pocket for me and my girlfriend to go and travel and do what I want to do. It's going to this fucking house over here. And so do I see that as a failure? I see my stupid business decision that I made when I thought I was on top of the world as, damn, that was a really big learning curve that I needed to be thrown at me and learn because what that business model was really, yeah, you lost $1 million, bro. But at the same time, imagine if you built all this out and you had a bad partnership or you relied on somebody else and you weren't able to do this, and then you lost $30 million. It's way
Yeah.
better to lose $1 million than it is to lose 30. So what do I need to do? I need to work backwards the same way that I'm telling you. I'm doing this for myself. What I do, I signed an agreement with Sotheby's to sell my house now in Tulum, right? So now what does that do? When this house is gone, I have the equity in it, so I'll walk away with a good amount of money, which is cool. But now I'll relieve that $5,500 a month that I'm paying for that, and these ads now become an asset. But I need to sell this house because that's locking me in. Am I failing? Yeah, I'm failing. I'm failing forward, right? I'm doing the right things. I'm on the right track. I have a partnership over here that's about to fucking kick off that I'm doing. I know the numbers from my webinar that I'm getting. And here's the thing, I'm getting the wrong people, and the wrong people I don't want to work with. Like they're not even willing to pay $250 to buy this course to learn this stuff. Like what I'm telling you guys and doing this every Sunday at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, no one is teaching this stuff. I don't really care to go and try to. I don't want to be a content creator. I'm not a content creator. I don't need to create videos to get people to do this for me. Why? Or to like be interested in what I have because I'm doing this over here. My business is coming from this, right? From selling this to high-end clients. Like I just enjoy playing golf on Sundays and sitting here chatting with you guys. You guys are my friends and it's fun, right? Like, but if I can make you successful, then there's money for all of us to be made, to have made. But am I afraid to fail? I've failed so many times that I don't even look at it as a failure. I just look at it like, all right, that didn't work, so don't fucking do that again. Change it up. These ads right now. So here's what I did. I ran ads to a $7 playbook. On the second page, I had an upsell of $49. And then I had book a call with me, book a call with me as like pick your brain, pick my brain type of call. They did not know that the pick my brain call is to sell them on getting into the group with Adam and Brendan, right? So someone bought the $7 item. Someone like maybe 10% would purchase the $49 course, and then no one would buy the $497 program because they're like, I don't have that type of money. So then what I did was I put, come to this free webinar, buy the recording slides and a $29 Go High Level sub account. And then I'm going to sell you this $250 course, the same one that I was selling for $49. So I have a bunch of people showing up. I have a portion that's bought the $29 Go High Level thing, and one person paid $250. So what does those three things do? I could stop and I could say, man, I spent 7 grand to figure that out. So what I think I should do is charge $2 to come to the webinar. On the next page, upsell them to a $29 Go High Level account. On the next page, have a downsell to something like a $49 WhatsApp group, and then, or just to pick my brain, and then have them come to the webinar, and the webinar sells them the 250. But I would have gotten I'll get the 270 to break even on my ad. I'll get the upsell to make a profit. I'll get them on a webinar, and then they can buy the 250 over here. So if I stop now, I think I fail because I'm out 7,500. If I can lock that in because I know what worked on the first campaign and I know what worked on the second and merge them and mix them a little bit together, well, at that point, that might be a win. So I might fail if I just stop. Am I $7,500 in debt right now on my credit card? Yeah. Do I think that my other business stuff is going to pay for it later on? Yeah. But if I stop right now, imagine if my first month, everybody loves this and they all buy it and I'm up 7,500 and I break even. And now month over month, I'm making $7,500. And imagine if I just stopped. That would be a failure for me. But I wouldn't know that until I go through with it and just keep spending more money because I'm learning. I'm learning at my expense, but I paid 160 grand to go to college. Like, I got a job. Worst case scenario, I could go back to the United States and get a $250,000 salary career job with my resume, but that doesn't sound fun to me. Like, that sounds like I failed. Yeah, I'd have a bunch of fucking money, but I wouldn't be living in Mexico playing golf when I want, going to the beach, hanging out. So it's like, am I failing? Yeah. Do I only have to work maybe 5 more years doing this? Yeah. Or do I go back and make 250 grand a year and pay a shit ton of taxes and then have a boss telling me when I can go play golf? I don't know. What do I want to choose? Right?
I understand that. That's why I'm home with my daughter.
Yeah. So it's
Time
like,
that it's the time freedom. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's like, man, if I had to go back, like I honestly, the other side of it is corporate. Oh man, I would hate to deal with those fucking people again. Everybody's a know-it-all. Everybody's just kissing the boss's ass to make it to the top, and they're not doing anything. They're literally going home. They're going to work to pay for a house that they can't afford with a car that they can't afford to prove to other people that they have a cool job. And when they go on vacation, they're like, "Yeah, I've been to Mexico. Where you been? I've been to the Marriott resort and I didn't leave. And I'm afraid of Mexico." That's what they're doing. Like, I'm like, damn, I've been to fucking Bangladesh, which was awesome. I've been to Bermuda. I've been to Colombia. I speak Spanish and I have an agency that I'm struggling with that I love. And I wake up and I can play golf whenever the fuck I want. And I have a house in Tulum that anybody could go to, right? The other thing is, I might even just run a webinar where it's like, hey, you guys want to come down and learn this? Come to my house in Tulum and turn that into a mastermind spot and make 5 grand every week off of it. Like, I just thought of that. I could do that. Why am I looking at it as an expense? Maybe I should just be like, hey guys, you guys want to come down and do a mastermind for 4 days? You know, it's $2,000. Buy your flight. Let's go. And we sit down and we do this. I mean, I don't know why. Maybe I should start doing that. Maybe I run a webinar for that.
Do we get a pioneer discount?
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I don't know. I have so many ideas, but I
I have a
gotta
question.
stay focused.
On your ads, who are you targeting on the ads?
I
Like,
mean,
what type of businesses are you targeting?
I don't have businesses. It's people that have agencies, like all of us.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
that's who. Okay.
But I'm gonna change it this week. I think I'm gonna start getting into the businesses. No offense, but like everybody goes and watches these YouTube videos, and the YouTube content creators are creating this industry of like you can make $10,000 a month by just selling Go High Level, and they might have 10,000 people, but only like a small amount are doing it in a way where they're maybe making 10 grand. Like maybe they are making 10 grand, but there's probably like 1 or 2%. Everybody else has a job, they have a family, they have kids, they're busy building out their website. They're not really doing it. And those people are selling the dream, but they're not showing you how to do it. I've been in some of these groups before, and I could name names, and I'm like, dude, I mean, you're really good at marketing. You've got a lot of people in here, but Jeff Miller is the best guy in this industry. Jeff Miller is the best guy in this industry. And you know what? Like J. Cole will say it in his lyrics. The one who's talking the loudest is not the realest. The one that's not talking the loudest and just sits there and listens and he has his own little thing, that's the one you got to pay attention to. And Jeff Miller is like that. Jeff Miller is not a content creator. He makes videos like this. He puts this shit on YouTube, and people sometimes find it. And he's the one that has that group. He has taught me a lot of this stuff, and I don't even pay for his stuff. I just look at it and I dissect it, and I see what he's doing, and I follow it. He's the one that taught me those ads, the Mad Lib ads. He's an amazing individual. He's busy. And he also does a little mastermind. It's like $2,000. You fly out to Miami and he'll help you with everything. And he does that. I might go and do it to see what it's like before I did my own because I don't know how to do that, but I could. But the ads that I'm running are attracting the wrong people. And it's the wrong people because they're too brainwashed to think that I'm going to show them how to make 10 grand a month. I am showing you how to make 10 grand a month. I'm doing it myself, but it's not going to me, it's going to my other shit. But at the same time, they think that it's like a cookie cutter approach that it's just like, okay, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna do it, and I'm not gonna put any work and do it. And that's why I got irritated this in the beginning of this is like work one at a time. Just go and get the meetings. If you get the meetings and you get 20 of them, it's inevitable that you're going to close 5. It's a numbers game. And if you get really good at it, you'll close 11 or you'll close 13, right? And so it only starts there. It doesn't start with the postcards and going to the BNI meetings. The BNI meetings and that stuff is trying to convince people and trying to sell like you are outside with a menu. You already have a number of people sitting on Upwork that are looking to pay you. Just plop yourself in front of them and set yourself apart like I did with my helmet and my leather jacket in the doctor's office and prove to the people like, hey, I'm your guy. I could do it. I work a completely different way than all these other fucktards that are telling you that they can build AI and they're trying to sell you shit. First, we need to get organized. And what does that mean? Pull everything out of your head, right? And that's what you got to do. That's why I'm not afraid of failing because no one's doing this. Everybody's doing it the other way. But it's hard for people to understand my perspective because they're learning from people that don't have the sales experience. This is what I learned from my boss. And I texted my boss a couple weeks ago and I was like, bro, you taught me a skill set that no one can take away from me unless I was a vegetable or I passed away. But like, I can sell anything. This is how I went on tour with Nipsey Hussle, with Kendrick Lamar. Like, I was on tour with these guys when I used to run my hip hop stuff back in the day. It works outside of sales, it works anywhere. You just hook, story, offer. It works everywhere. It'll work anywhere. It's awesome. And if you can get that down, you become extremely valuable.
I when you were talking today, something I want to say was I've had the past 5 years have been very interesting. But one thing that Justin, my husband, respects about you is that you don't try to sell a dream. You sell fat. You don't try to sell anything. You're just truly out there helping people. And he's seen the dream sellers. You know what I mean? Like the people that are trying to sell. Because I just spent, when I went into solar, they were well, one solar deal you'll get $5,000, and I sold my ass off. Like in the first 30 days I sold 3 accounts, right? I only made $2,000, $3,000. And my husband's not a sales rep. He's very a black and white guy, like black and white paper, right? He's not black, he's Italian, but he's just like facts and fiction, right? And
Yeah,
he get pissed. He'd be like, I thought they said $5,000. That means you should have $15,000. Why aren't you selling 15? And I'm like, it's sales. I knew that they would be full of shit, just whatever. And he
yeah, there's
goes,
a
no,
catch.
you shouldn't deal with people like that. So then he heard you today and he pointed to the screen and he said, that guy's not full of shit.
Yeah,
Do
I mean,
whatever he says. So
well,
he respects that.
I've learned the hard way too. Like, I mean, I'll tell you one of the guys' names, Jason Wojo. He's the one that I am extremely grateful for because he fucking scammed me and he ripped me off and he introduced me to this go high level stuff. And had I not been scammed and ripped off from him because he promised me, oh, dude, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna change your whole entire business, blah blah blah. He took it was like $2,000 for 3 months. He took all 6,000 and I did a chargeback. And I even told the bank, I said, you know what? Let him keep 2,000 because he did, uh, he did set up my account and that was part of the agreement. But I want to charge back 4,000. And I got 4,000 back and he texted me and he was like, fuck you, dude. You're a fucking asshole. I'm going to get my lawyer. I'm going to ruin your entire business. And I said, bro, the fact that you just cursed me out as a client because I did a chargeback means you have way more problems with your business than little old Nick over here. Go ahead and try to ruin my business because I'm going to shine. Like, I don't care what you think. You didn't fulfill what you promised that you were going to fulfill. And I even let you keep 2 grand because you did fulfill that part of the contract when I could have lied to the bank and said, no, give me my fucking 6 grand back.
Yep.
Like, I'm going to look back on this one day and be grateful that you did scam me because I built an empire for myself out of your shit. And I am. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him who scammed me, and he did. And to this day, I'll comment on his ads. Like, this guy's a fucking scam artist. Fuck this guy. Like, he goes and buys a Bentley and he's taking everybody's money and he's just turning and burning everybody and he deletes the bad comments. And like I've written that on his ads before. Like, I am gonna be real. I'm not gonna sit there and say no. Like, you asked me about failure. I partnered, and this is why I don't partner with a lot of people. I partnered with somebody here in Mexico, and we sold a bunch of Amazon stores.
Yeah, you told me that story.
In one webinar, I sold 27 Amazon stores for $14,000 a piece. It was over 300 grand in 45 minutes come through in my what's it called, PayPal account. I went out to Bangladesh to go and fix all of this because the guy that I was working with scammed me. He not only did he scam me, I brought friends that I had from high school in on this stuff. My cousin was in on this stuff. Now, granted, you really figure out who your true friends are when this type of shit happens. Because I had friends that I have not spoken to ever again. They blocked me. They will not speak to me. They go around and tell people that I fucked them over, which I did. I used somebody else's trust to I didn't make at the end of everything, I lost money off of it. In the beginning, I made the money, but I lost all the money plus I had to pay stuff. I had went all the way out to Bangladesh. I lost a shit ton of money and I never got that money back and I lost my friends. And so from that day on, I told myself that I will not talk about anything that I would sell if I have not done it first. And
Mhm.
so when I started my real estate business here in Mexico, I bought my house and then I did it. When I started selling this stuff, I could have been one of those little gurus and go and create this thing. But I legit did sell $63,500 in 6 weeks. Like I,
Yep.
I 100% did that. And so I've taken a break from it because Adam and Brennan told me not to, because they didn't have the capacity to take on more deals. And so during that time, everybody in the group was like, Nick, you should make this course. Actually, Adam came to me and said, you should make this course. And so for the past like 2 months, I've been trying to make this work, and it's working. It's working to the fact that I'm learning how these funnels are run. So when I run this webinar for these business, excuse me, the business stuff, now I can sell these $250 project scope documents to the masses all at once. And that means that I know inevitably I'm going to close. If I get 20 people to buy a $250 document, I can get like 8 people to buy a 10, a 15, a $20,000 build. And now I'm following Russell Brunson's model. But I'm not going to tell, I told you guys this today. I'm not selling it to you. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I'm not gonna go and partner with anybody. And that's part of the reason why I told you, Kathy, is like I just wouldn't. I don't know you that
Well,
well, and I don't know what could happen, but we have the resources that can make you successful without me. And
well, I can respect that. I had a partnership a long time ago that I did everything for them. They were in Iraq fighting, and I was running their business. I was the CEO of their company. It was for an apparel company. Well, in the end, one of the main guy brought in a partner on, and when he brought in that partner, they brought in their sister. Long story short, they tried to, when I wanted to back out because they just weren't doing what they were supposed to do, and I asked to retain rights to some things, they tried to flip the switch and say I embezzled money. The only thing they were like, all the photo shoots, all the photo shoots, which were skinny models. I'm a size 22. I am not a size 0. All the photo shoots, everything. They tried to say I bought that for myself. And long story short, they it was just horrible. It was a nightmare. And I had little kids, and my saving grace was I kept very, very, very good documents, and my attorney's like, you guys you're not gonna get what you're supposed to get. I know it's not fair, but just turn over all the files and just wipe this clean because they're gonna play dirty. So for me, I understand when you say you don't want, because someone was trying to put me in jail based on a lie. It was like they were saying that I was buying size 0 pants for myself. At the time, I had just had a baby. I was not a size 0. And
yeah,
because I kept very, very, very good documents, like I documented, receipted everything, my attorney was able to pass it over and we were able to settle without going to court. Like we didn't settle, we just surrendered, but that was devastating. And so I can understand you not wanting to have a partner. My husband said the only partner I have is him,
yeah,
and that's it.
yeah,
So I can respect that. That's why I resonate with you so well, because I can respect a lot of the things you say are things that I've had happen in life. That's all, you know,
yeah.
because I am a little bit older than you, just a little bit probably.
Just a little bit.
So just a little bit. So, so that's why I respect you so much. And I come to your classes because I learned something. To be very transparent, besides taking time off to be with my daughter for Christmas, one of the reasons why, and I was in the hospital actually last week in surgery, but I'm good now. But I've been scared because I've I've done every single position I've had, I've sold. Like every time I go anywhere, I sell. I can sell my ass off. But I haven't hit the numbers that I wanted, or I got screwed, and it just kind of like took the wind out of my wings. So with this, I'm no bullshit. I've just been scared, and my husband's like, "I'm with you. I support you. You can't you know, if you fail, I'm still with you, honey. It's okay. just do it and see what happens.
Yeah,
That's
that's good.
I'm just being transparent. I'm being no bullshit, just telling you why I've been so stuck,
Yeah,
you
no, I
know?
hear you. Yeah, yeah. Well, it all starts with just going and get these project scope documents. Just like it's like, what they say is you lay one brick at a time and sooner or later you'll have a wall, right? So most people try to build these walls and they don't have a system in place. Back in June, I made a separate Instagram account, and sometimes I do this like to hold myself accountable, and I put it out there because if I say it, like I don't want to make myself be a liar. And I was like, I'm gonna make 50 grand in the next 90 days. And I did 63,500 in the next 90 days in 6 weeks. And so, I made the separate account. Like you asked again about failing is sometimes I don't like to share everything with my friends and people that follow me on Instagram. Like I
Yeah.
don't they don't need you guys are different because I don't have like I don't know, I feel I can talk openly with you guys, from I don't know. I don't know why. I don't really know why. Why am I not that I'm afraid, but it's like I don't need to tell everybody my business,
Yeah.
like I'll do it
Me
on
neither.
YouTube if people resonate with it, cool. But like my friends are not watching my YouTube channel. My mom and dad are not watching my YouTube channel. Like, and
You
so
won't you won't get judged by the people that you know with us because we're all pretty much on the
no, of
same boat.
course. Yeah, like I don't think that I'm gonna get judged. Like not that I'm getting judged. It's just none of the stuff that I'm doing resonates with them. It's like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
my
don't
friends.
understand. They don't
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
They
understand.
not gonna
understand.
understand. They're just like, oh, Nick moved to Mexico and he's building out some AI shit. I don't know, like
Yeah.
it doesn't pertain to them. And
Yeah.
so it's like if I posted that on my personal Instagram, it's like, yeah, okay, cool. Like I'm sure he's gonna do that. They know the type of stuff that I do, but it's like I don't know. It's not really, my point is it's not for them. It's for me to hold myself accountable. If I put it out there, then I'm going to do it. Right. But I just made a separate account and I was just going through it like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to, whatever it is, and I make 60 grand or 50 grand in the next 60 days or 30 days, or whatever it was. And I did something like that. Like I might have said I was going to make 50 grand in 30 days and I did 60 grand in 6 weeks, whatever it was, but it was still there. So, but yeah, I'm
I
just looking
I
at
can
sales. Go
I can
ahead.
respect that. And that was a very scary thing that I just told you because I don't, like he just said, I don't want to be judged,
Yeah. Yeah.
my,
Yeah.
but, so I only tell that to people that, yeah, it was a horrible moment for me because I was in the right and they were in the wrong. And, you know,
Yeah. I hear you.
like straight out liar. And I never, because of my integrity and because of how my parents sheltered me, I didn't know people could play dirty like that. So, I can respect. I have the utmost respect for you, Nick,
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
because I feel like even what you're charging, like what the class that you're charging, even at 250, that's from the heart. You're not trying to make thousands of dollars from it,
Yeah.
even though
Yeah.
it's worth I feel like it's worth $1,000. And you know what? I refer you to everyone that I
Mhm.
meet that has a go high level. Like whenever anyone says, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, you have to check out Nick. He's like the only person telling you really how to do it. No one else. How to do it quickly rather than the long game. You can have your long game and your short game. You kind of have to have both."
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. This is the long game, right? So, well, cool. Well,
Last
I did a
last
real,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Um, I don't know how to make a Upwork profile. Do you have that on the course or no?
Yeah, I do. It's inside there. Another way to do it would be Just go to YouTube and type in how to make the best the best Upwork profile. But I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of people out there that have it.
Wh- What would be on the profile like what is it, like an AI system or SDR or agency?
What I would do is I would go to find work, like in the little section. Here, I'll show you real quick.
No, I meant like what would I put on my
Yeah,
profile?
Yeah,
Would it
I want
be
to
like an
see if
agency?
I'm gonna show you. So I would go to find work, and then let's say you want to work with AI and chatbots, right? So I would go AI, build and automate digital marketing and for electrical contractors, right? So I'd click here.
Ooh. Oh my goodness, I should be on this right now. Damn it.
Yeah,
Sorry. I'm
no, it's okay. So like I would put this develop client. I can develop client acquisition and nurturing funnels. Um, if you want to create white label solutions, yeah. I would look and see what people are doing. But here's what you do to make this easier. You just copy and paste a bunch of these things in here, and you hit copy, and then you go over to ChatGPT,
ChatGPT?
and then
Nice.
you just say, find all of the similar things in these Upwork proposal or Upwork job listings, and help me generate a successful Upwork profile that would resonate with these types of jobs. And then it would just fucking build it for you in 30 seconds.
Nice. Okay.
That's
Love
all.
that.
Good idea.
We need a rap song about going to ChatGPT.
Right.
Right.
So
I saw some of your old YouTube, Nick, where you used to travel and interview different rap up and coming artists and real artists. I was like, wow,
yeah,
Nick's the homie. No, just kidding.
I use the same, but I use the same exact tactics that I'm teaching now. I mean, I used to go to their Twitter profiles, scroll all the way to the bottom of like Kendrick Lamar's and say and see who he was following. The very first few people, and I would text them, "Hey, I saw that Kendrick Lamar follows you, and he's going to be in town in New York City in a couple days. I run a hip hop blog, but I was more interested in interviewing you since you're on his team, and it would be cool to kind of get the backstory of how you help Kendrick Lamar." And then they would be like, "Really? Me? You want to interview me? Sure, that's cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, why wouldn't I want to interview you? You're the fucking team that's making him who he is. He's gonna be big one day." And then they would be like, "Yeah, you live in Brooklyn?" I'm like, "Yeah, you guys are coming?" Like, "Yeah, well, I'll throw it on my blog. We'll get it out there and you'll be a part of it." And they'd be like, "Yeah." And I'd be like, "Well, how do I get in?" "Oh, don't worry. I can get you a backstage pass." And I'd be like, "Well, I have a cameraman too," which was my cousin. Can he? "Yeah, dude, I can get you like two or three. You tell me how many you need. Tell me your name." I'm like, "All right, see you Thursday, 7 p.m." And then I would just go and I'd go to the front door and I'd be like, "Yeah, DJ VIP told me that there was a ticket here for me and I have two for a media pass." And they'd be like, uh,
Wow.
"What's your name?" "Yeah, yeah." And I'd skip the line and I'd go in with a fucking camera. I had a blog called Hip Hop Durso, who no one knows anything about it. And then they would be like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Where does this badge go?" They're like, "Oh yeah, you got to go upstairs, upstairs." And I'd walk in the green room and they'd all just be sitting there smoking, drinking, hanging out. And they'd be like, "Yo, who are you?" I'm like, "Oh, DJ VIP invited me. I'm gonna interview you guys." And they're like, "Fuck yeah, dude! Get this, film this right now, film this, get this. Can you
Yeah,
can I get your phone number so you can send it to me?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude." And then I would just, man, it was wild. It was just so
that was
simple.
fun.
I'm just like, man, this is easy.
That was fun. That's how that you're just so original.
It was
You're so
just so easy. It was like, Why would I go to Kendrick Lamar, who's busy, and everybody's trying to hit him up when I could just go to his right-hand man and be like, yo, bro, I want to interview you. And they'd be like, really? You want to
Mhm.
interview me? Usually it's Kendrick. No, dude. Everybody wants to interview Kendrick. No one else. No, you're the one running the show. And they're like, yeah, that's true. I am. All right. Yeah, here we
Right.
go, bro. And then by the end of the night, they'd be like, dude, what are you doing? Why don't you just come with us to Baltimore? And I'm like, how am I going to get there? Like, jump on the bus. What do you mean?
Wow.
We need you to film this. I'm like,
Nice.
Video, yep.
I would tell my mom and dad like, yeah, mom, I'm on the tour bus with Kendrick Lamar, or I just was hanging out with Nipsey Hussle. We'd go to like parties and ASAP Ferg and ASAP Rocky and all of them. They would be like, I remember one time my cousin he was with me. I'd always bring my cousin and just say, "You're the cameraman, bro. Like you have to hold the camera." He's like, "Dude, that's the most important job." Yeah, of course, I'll come. So we would go to all the hip hop shows, and one time we went to Mercury Ballroom or somewhere in the city, and we're there for a Logic concert, and over the top there were like, was it Mercury Ballroom? I think it was. There were like balconies and these guys are leaning over and they're yelling, Durso, Durso. And I look up and my cousin looks up. And he's like, bro, do you know who that is? And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's ASAP Rocky and ASAP Ferg. And he's like, yeah, I know, bro. They're yelling your name. And I'm like,
Uh,
yo. And they're like, bro, what are you doing down there? We got a whole bottle up here. Come upstairs. And my cousin just looks at me and he goes, bro, they're inviting us up there? And I just looked at it like, dude, I'm a hip hop Durso. He's like, bro. And then I go up
Yeah.
there and everybody's hanging out and
wow.
he's like, dude, you moved back here. I've been going to hip hop shows since you were a kid. You came back here, and in 4 months, we've gone to more hip hop shows, and I'm on stage and backstage because you started a website called Hip Hop Durso, and I was giving you a hard time about the name. And I'm like, yeah, dude, none of that shit matters.
You're like
HipHopDurso.com.
you're like their personal private cameraman and documentary guy.
Yeah, I
Nice.
mean, it was a little bit back in the day too, right? So it was like 2013, 14, 15.
Different time. Yep.
Yeah, now I don't think that would work just because, uh, content is and I
Yeah.
wasn't editing it. I wasn't really doing anything with it. After I would leave them, they would not know, like, wouldn't be like, Nick, where's the video? They were just,
Yeah.
in the moment it was there, but it was cool. I could put it on my Instagram and the YouTube
They're
channel.
on top of you now. I remember when I used to do the red carpets and stuff for the Disney movies.
Yeah.
Not as hip, but when I did the different red carpets where I got to walk and be on those different parties and stuff, the content wasn't, you had to post it, but not like now they're on you more. How they are with influencers and things is just really different. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily go back to it, although my daughter asked me if we just did something for Beetlejuice. We were invited to a Beetlejuice thing and we posted. And she's like, Mom, are we going to do that full time again? And I said, yeah, no, because I don't want the pressure. People don't understand how much pressure it is to be an influencer now compared to what it was. Well, content creator now compared to what it was then. And a lot of those content creators are getting paid. I went to one thing and I'm friends with the publicist, and the publicist told me like the YouTubers and the TikTokers are asking, one TikToker asked her for $25,000 just to attend a red carpet event. And she's like, yeah, I'm not paying you 25,000 to attend a red carpet event.
Yeah.
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 Well, you know who changed that? Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. So I will let
It,
you go. You have a beautiful week, Nick.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you guys. I
Thank
like
you,
doing
Nick.
these.
It was an eye-opening
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll see
Thank
you
you for the
guys.
stern conversation too.
Yeah.
You're
It's
welcome.
an eye-opening, stern conversation.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're welcome. If I don't say it, I don't know who's gonna.
He only says it because he cares.
That's
Yeah.
true. I
And I
do.
really need it. Nick's like, Kathy, you're struggling. Get your butt to the
Yeah.
computer, put in as many Upworks, and your case is closed. Knock that fear off, girl. Like, I know it. And my husband's just like, I don't want to hear shit from you tomorrow because it's Monday, except for what's your Upwork profile.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Yeah,
why don't
because
you go sell? And he goes, because that's not the arrangement.
yeah,
exactly.
because
He's not the
like you
sales rep.
said,
Huh?
yeah, because like Nick says, just the fear and the procrastination, and
It's
then
worthless. It's
yeah,
worth.
and then we shut down and we get in our head, and then we end up doing nothing.
Mhm.
Yeah. I said, her where to start. Nick's like, I told you 50 times where to start. Knock your shit off. Well, I don't know what you're doing, girl, but knock it off. I
Yeah,
don't know where to start. I'm not hearing from you again, Kathy. You better come with different questions because the next time I ain't answering you.
yeah. I'm not gonna answer you guys anymore. You already know what you need to do.
That's okay.
You can
I'll
just replay this video back to her.
record it. That's gonna be
Yeah,
Nick's new ringtone. I am dealing with your ass, Kathy. That's gonna be his ringtone.
exactly.
It's okay. But I can ask you about Upwork profiles. Like you will look at if I want you to look at the profile to see if I did it right. You'll do that. Those are new questions, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Like the thing is no one's really gonna look at your profile when you start buying these connects and you message them. They're just looking at what it is that you have, that you wrote.
Mm.
So it's again, it's just a hook. I very rarely ever get, sometimes I get people that will invite me to a job, but I think that Upwork like puts me inside, I don't know, some algorithm or something that when someone posts a job, I just pop up like there where they say like these guys will fit the profile of whatever you need built. You can just invite them to a job and they'll invite me, but they don't even read it because it'll be like, I'm looking for, a sales representative to close deals for me. And maybe because in my profile I have 15 years of sales experience and it's just picking that up. But I don't ever get a job from someone that contacted me. I get a job from what I wrote inside the apply now button and say, and I catch them off guard because I know that, the remaining 15 people said the same thing. Oh, and I've never seen it, but this is how I put myself in their shoes of someone that doesn't have the sales experience and is not selling this project scope document is like, they're like, oh, hey, I saw your thing. I can definitely build out your email marketing, your automations, and I have, 7 years of experience with that. I charge, $35 an hour. And the types of clients that pick those people are the ones that I don't want to work with because they're going to beat me up over, well, your price is, and I have my price at $129 an hour on my profile. So when someone sees that, they'll go into the meeting and say, "Yeah, I chose you because you're more expensive, and I think that that's a good thing to have, right?" So I'm not getting the shitty clients that, again, I call them shitty because they just complain. They're looking for a deal. They want to get some random guy in another country that's like, I'm gonna get this for really cheap, but they want three things, and Brendan taught me this is they want something cheap, they want something fast, and they want something of quality. You can only get two of those. You can get something that's cheap and fast. You can get quality, not cheap. You can get quality and fast, but that means you have to pay more money, right?
Yeah.
You can get, I don't, whatever the other combinations are, right? You
Yeah.
can get
Yeah.
all three. And so I don't need to. help everybody because one of those clients is going to be a $15,000 or $20,000 client. Yeah, it might take me 3 weeks to land it, but that's 3 weeks of me working on these webinars while I have one random guy that is willing to take a meeting with me and he turns into my sale, right? So one thing that I need to really focus on is I just need to submit like 10 a day. If I could just do 10 a day and just be consistent with that, then I'll get more business. But I had to take a break because Adam and Brendan told me to take a break. So I shifted and I started working on this stuff, which is fine. It's working to an extent, but like I shift around. And I also have a whole other partnership that I'm building out other stuff with that has this AI. So it's like I have a lot of stuff going on, but it's all vertically integrated and it's all going the same way.
Got it. I can't wait to see what your other project is.
It's the stuff that I have with some of the like that surf lakes. So we're just building out the AI to help investment firms is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm working on the back end, and it's working. I mean, we have some clients, so
Got it. Well, you guys have a good night. I'm going to take a break and then watch more of Nick
all
in
right,
the
Yeah,
cloud.
me too.
all right.
Good
Talk-
night,
See you
guys.
guys later. Happy Sundays.
You
Happy
too.
Sunday. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.